Welcome back to another fantastic episode of the Red Wagon Inn. We got our boy Will from Two Dumb Brothers back once more. Now we have the full set of Two Dumb Brothers. We just need to get the collector's shiny version coming soon. Thanks for coming and joining us one more time, Will.
Thanks for having me. It's always a fun time, so I'm glad to be here.
Of course, it's always really good to come after our previous guest has absolutely changed everything, and now you have to come help clean up the mess that was caused by Sam.
That's what my characters are known to do, not make messes.
Oh, well, then just get out of here. Awesome. We also, hey, Band of Badgers Raid, we have a big plan for tonight. We have 4 giveaways that are going to be all 4 secret mystery things coming up very soon. But first, I want to go ahead and show off some art because then we got a lot of shilling to do because there's some cool stuff coming up. So first off, we have something from MZ Pemzy, which is 4 different things, by the way. I think they're perler bead arts, if I'm correct on what that is specifically. Yeah. They all look awesome. We got a Zinnia, we got ourselves a How, and then we have, my favorite is the Wren one, because the Wren one looks great on its own, but then it also glows in the dark, and it looks like the Feels meme, and I love it. It's my favorite. Does it not? It's my favorite. Oh, it's so good. Also, who's excited to hear Ryan's Betsy voice? Yeah, I will try. We also have something from Lucid Lemon, or Lucidalmon, depending on how you ask, and it's a cursed image of Betsy's homunculus because she was an artificer, and I hate it and I love it at the same time.
To print it.
Yeehaw!
Right. Before I begin shilling a massive amount of things, does anybody have anything else that they're going to be shilling?
I do.
Yeah.
I have a shop update coming up next Wednesday. Not this Wednesday, next Wednesday. I'm gonna have 15 sets, chonky 45 mil dice. I'm gonna have single D20s. I'm gonna have stickers. I have a bunch of stuff. So come spend some money, and you too can roll some dice.
For a price?
Not for free.
Dice for a price. That was perfect.
Yeah.
That was
Your
perfect.
boy's
That's
gotta
great.
pay his rent.
We plan it. We plan it like this. Anybody else?
Drew, your
Great.
hair looks very nice today.
Thank you. I literally did nothing to it.
That e-boy.
Keep doing that.
Swoop. Little light mini plug. Last week, if you didn't see, for the charity stream, raised over $2,000 for with Gamers vs MS. It was super rad.
Woo.
It brought the goal over 40,000. By the end of the week, they capped it over 50,000. It was nuts. So
That's crazy.
for MS Research, they raised
Dang.
$50,000 for the week relay. It was pretty amazing. It was super cool to be a part of that. And so for everyone who showed up, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, goodbye.
Well, speaking of charity, great transition. If you've already spent money to help out on Jakey's charity, I'm here to take more of your money and away. Down there, as you see in the description, we have a 24-hour charity stream starting tomorrow, the same time we normally start Red Wagon Inn, but it's going to be Wednesday to Thursday. I'm going to be doing 24-hour charity stream, which has many, many things. One of which we're going to start off making dice, and by the end of that night, we'll have the dice that we put in the pressure pot out, and we'll be able to take a look at those dice. We also have 3 separate D&D games that we're going to run. All of them are canon in the Red Wagon Inn universe. We're going to be painting some minis. We're going to be playing some Baldur's Gate, but I'm excited to kind of tell you about all 3, so I'm going to throw them up here. The first of which is going to be at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, or 8 Eastern Standard Time, which is going to be a charity D&D one-shot featuring Salt and Pepper, a god, which I'm guessing you can figure out who, desires a forbidden magical item from a conclave of horrors. I'm going to be DMing that with our gal Hayden Davio. We also got Jean from, or that's not Jean, it's Jean, sorry, he's French, from Pixels Dice. We have Brie. We've got Strong Hearth in the chat, who is always around, so she's going to be joining us, as well as Alex. So that's going to be a really, really big one, and very excited, and hope you all come and join and watch what happens to Salt and Pepper and Summer and whatnot. It's going to be a good time. We also have one at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, which features the majority of the folks here plus Sam again. This one is a group of green kobolds has been causing chaos throughout the land. I wonder what that's all about. Only way you can know is if you come find out at 6 a.m. before everybody is awake. And finally, we have another one shot which has The two moderators for my server, Durandal Dice and Xander Creststrider, as well as Sugar Bee Dice, and the two dumb brothers joining us for a party of friends that find themselves in an unplanned mystery after having recently killed the Lich in his evil tomb. Very excited for all three of those. They are all canon. Whatever happens in those could possibly affect what happens in the regular show. So you got to make sure you come check those out. Which leads us to the giveaways. We have 4 separate giveaways tonight, one every hour. All of them are going to be for mystery tokens that you can use tomorrow on the 24-hour charity stream to affect the games in one way, shape, or form. They're going to be a lot of fun, so I hope you stick around. And then that's incentive. Come hang out on the 24-hour charity stream. We are streaming for Baylor Scott and White, my local children's hospital. It's going to be a good time. All the money's going to go to them, and they deserve it and need it. We've already got milestones on there, one of which is to change some canon things about the god of chat themselves in terms of what is officially on their cloak. Then we also have Jakey just said that he would dress up as a maid for the 6 a.m. game if we double the actual goal. The actual goal is $1,000, but if we get to 2,000, he'll dress up as a maid for the 6 a.m. game. So mad props to Jakey for putting himself forward.
I mean, you asked me to do it because I was pointed out I have the outfit already. And I told you the outfit is a travesty because of the 2,000 milestone from the last giveaway. So I'll be doing that on stream. So if you want a sneak preview of it, gotta go to the bank.
That's my wife.
Sorry, Maid Jakey. Maid Jakey's coming out. Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Get it up to 6K, and I'll just have Loki sit in the chair, and Loki can play my character.
Loki
Just
plays.
wave his
Oh, we'll
arms
get it up to
behind.
6K, and I'll have Pico play and Loki, and then we'll just have there'll be pets and dragons.
They're just staring the whole time. They're so
Just
confused.
the whole one shot soda. What do you guys want to do?
It's not fair. Jackie gets to
Walks
play
off
as
camera.
2 characters. She's got both her doggos that can come on.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, you have 3. I've only ever seen the 2.
One of them's real ugly.
They would earn a GFY, not a point of
Off
inspo.
camera, sitting on the bed, you just hear a "What the hell, man?"
You, buddy.
You're
Not even
supposed-
sure it's a dog.
So rude.
Also, Bobo to
That ugly stuff. I just like to shit on him. My poor boy. My boy.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and roll for recap. Will, did you watch last week's episode? Because if you did, I will make you roll. If you didn't, I will hold off.
Don't
I
lie.
didn't.
You were in
Okay.
chat.
Wow.
Oh, speaking of rolling for recap, I have something new that I can show you. So when I say high or low, you don't have to wonder if I'm lying or not.
Well, as
I got a
DM, we
dice
shouldn't
cam.
have to worry about that anyway.
DMs fudge the dice all the time. What are you talking about? If I'm a dungeon master and I see someone's at 1 health and I roll a crit, I'm going to say I crit. Usually, but there's the odd time if that person's had a rough day, I might say, "Oh darn! Oh gosh, it missed! Oh jeez!
Coward.
Wow, how did they miss?"
Coward.
Howard, indeed.
So that was a 13 for me. Yeah.
Wait,
we
did
got?
that show on stream?
Yeah, I showed it
did.
on stream.
Cool. It would probably help if I had stream up.
You're not watching the stream?
I have chat. That's the only important thing I need.
Will, what did you get?
So I
Oh,
only
wait.
stopped in just to say hi a couple times in the stream. I just know things went bad. So that would be the world's shortest recap. If you want me to roll, I can roll for
Drew,
you.
what did you get?
I got a 15.
Oh, Rybonator says 13. That's his lucky number, so he's part of this one.
Hey,
You got a 15. Jackie, what'd you get?
I got real scared. I got a 14.
Oh, wait, hold on. Jakey?
I also rolled a 13.
Oh,
Ooh, I'll play you in Liar's Dice.
All right, I'll play liar's dice. I'll take your money again.
Okay. There's no detect thoughts this time. I can't be cheated out of this.
Rybo, I can see through your soul. I don't need detect thoughts to beat you in liar's dice.
Roll.
All right.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. This is so exciting.
5.
Okay.
What'd you get?
7.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Dang it! I had a 5, so you were right. No.
Undefeated in Liar's Dice. Let it be known.
All
Let
right.
it be known.
Mm.
Come on.
Well, then I shall rewrite history as.
Fair
Please
enough.
do.
Fair enough. Please do. So, the last session, our group was in the tower. They heard the door close. Somebody came out from upstairs, and it was a little fairy lady who seemed to be quite tough for her size. Had a very thick Brooklyn-style accent. She was Harley Quinn, but she was a fairy. As she flew around and intimidated the group, as Ren was quite terrified, as was Robert. Eventually, they found that they accidentally caused the flushing of her 2 chests out into the world. The gold, all of the goods that she had been procuring, and they also found out that she's part of the thieves' den. So if they didn't want to be told on, they had to kind of do what she said, and she asked them if they could help her get a different chest back. The group said okay. They kind of bonded over a little bit of coffee. Ren also became small. They hung out in some birdhouses. It was a good time before they came back as Hao created a tiny little hut. Very excited to finally get to do that at some point. And the hut was awesome. It basically turns everybody into a comic book character with the Bam Pow Splat. The group came back into the hut, planned out how they were going to go about this heist of getting the chest back. We're told it was this kind of gambling den outside of the thieves' den, and its own little mafioso-esque area. When some dwarves came in, they had to lie and convince the dwarves that, oh, this hut that you see here that is just a metal ball, don't worry about that. I installed that metal ball ages ago. Go ahead and fix the hole downstairs. So while the dwarves were fixing the hole, the pixie fairy went and scouted the den to find out where everything was, came back with Jakey's owl, and they decided, all right, well, let's just go right in the front door. Jakey and Jackie, or Zinnia and Hao, came rocking in, husband and wife style, in their finest of drow attire, and smoking cigars. They went in, they found out that this is very much of the Russian mob style, if there were to be one, or Goliath mob style rather than Italian, etc. In there are automata for slot machines, all the good gambling things, but mostly there was cards. Jakey cheated at a bit of Liar's Dice, as he just did a little bit earlier, and Jakey won some Liar's Dice using magic and skill, and almost got into a fight, but, they got him out of there, as Zinnia said, "My husband," many times. As while that was happening, Ren and our little pixie friend Sam went and searched for the chest. They found it, but Ren died quite literally to a keyhole that was filled with an electric shock. But somebody used their token, Bobo did, and brought Ren back to life without any sort of sight as to why Ren was brought back to life. Ren just thought he didn't die, so that's good, I guess. But Sam saw and knows the truth. They went in, they found the guy they were looking to avoid, and they found the chest, in which case, when he found them, they just blew up the gambler's den. Currently, there is a huge hole that blows out 2 sides of the gambling den. I know there's a clarification. They didn't. Sam did. Sam blew up the gambling den. She also had a homunculus that is a Furby with Barbie legs, and it haunts my dreams. That's an accurate face for it. It's this. But currently, 2 of the floors, the whole side of the house, the eastern side of the building is ripped and torn asunder. You can hear loud creaks as the 150 floors above begin to lean. Hao was caught from falling. Ren went up. Everyone's in kind of peril right now. To my knowledge, all 3 of you are at the first floor of the gambling den, which is 50 floors up. Sam is somewhere on the 2nd floor, doing something and running away to try and grab her chest. Is that correct? Are we good?
Sort of. I did go with Sam, but to make ease of things, I will say I'm on the 1st floor.
Okay, yeah, then Ren, you're back with Zinnia and Hao as Sam has rushed away. You knew that big Goliath character that you saw literally go from one story to another just by standing up and pulling on from the floor, which was the ceiling, and just going up to that next floor because they're so tall and large. You decided, we'll just let Sam go do that. Just let her have a good time. As if that's back it, then we'll call it good there.
Wait.
Fantastic. let's go ahead and get started then if nobody has anything else.
No, that sounds like a good. I would give an inspo for that recap. That was a clean recap.
I get an inspo?
I give you money. Take it.
I will take it. I have also, as a recap, I have 1 GFY, 1 inspo.
Ugh.
Will, your GFYs carry over, so you have 5. How, you have 3. Ren, you have 1. Zania, you have 5. I gotta say, Ren, you were the least person I expected to have the smallest amount.
Is it because I'm the size of a fairy?
It's because Drew. No.
That's my boy.
Yeah. Right. So everybody grab a drink, pull up a chair, and let's continue right back at the chaos where the explosion had happened. How you currently have been pulled back up and are laying on your back on the 50th floor here. Zania sits there with Ren, who flies back up, riding on the mage hand in your small fairy-like form. What are you doing?
I feel like my ears would be ringing, right? So they just
Yeah, everybody has tinnitus now.
We gotta go! Like literally screaming into Howe's ear. We got to go!
I just grab him, like the whole yelling in my ear. Yeah, I'm aware.
Let's go!
Yeah,
as I should be saying.
we should leave. I don't think there's much for us here.
As
Where
the
should
three
we
of
go,
you,
though?
kind of how you're holding on to Ren, is the best visual I can get as you kind of sit up. Zania, you're kneeled down looking at the two of them. You turn over. There's a guard that has moved to close the door, letting people out. One of the large Goliaths that sits inside has closed the door, and the dwarven bouncer that was outside has joined him. The dwarf pulls out a small little wabajack, not wabajack, what's the sap in his hand for causing a beating. The Goliath, however, just sits there reaching for something in his right pocket as he looks around the crowd. Some people begin to rush over trying to get out, but they push them down to the ground and start throwing accusations at them, saying, "Where were you? What did you see?" The dwarf says, "All right, come on, give me your weapons. You're not leaving here without a thorough inspection." As everyone is in pure chaos right now, you can hear the loud footsteps, boom, 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 Ren, of which you can only imagine to be the large Goliath man running upstairs. There's a large hole that leads upstairs, but you can hear his footsteps just for how large he is. You can also hear the creaking of the wood of the 150 stories above you all.
God, what the hell happened? Where's Betsy?
Ooh. And Rin just looks up and points at the hole.
Betsy did that.
Yeah. Oh. That was a weird noise.
Synthesizer. Synthesizer.
Yeah. My Go XLR is dying.
Yeah, she went around the world.
Honestly, not our problem. And I'm just gonna stand up. I'm going to put Ren in a pocket or something, unless Ren wants to change. I'm gonna dust off while I dust myself off, I'm gonna cast Prestidigitation on both Zinnia and I, so we look sparkly clean. Does it look like there's anywhere where they're having people sit down and wait? Because there's the chaos at the door, but is there just somewhere where we can sit and be like, yeah, inspect me so I can leave? Because that's kind of like Howe's mindset. Because like we have not done nothing incriminating.
There are currently a few people scrounging at the bar trying to steal some booze. There's a large crowd heading towards the front door and a small group of people running towards the back. The tiefling bartenders or barmaids are running away as if this is not their thing anymore. They are gone and out of here, as are a lot of the patrons. Seeing as how they see that the front door is yielding nothing, they're heading to the back. You also have the large open side of the building as well, but as you're kind of looking around, somebody tries to make a break for the door, but the Goliath pulls out a small knife from his pocket and stabs someone who goes for the door. You hear a large cry from the gnomish man who tries.
Well,
Okay.
well, we have a couple choices. We either leave through this obvious exit, and I indicate the wall that like Howe fell out of, or we let them inspect us, I guess, because I'm not gonna lie, I have no interest in booze. I don't want to just run through a back door. So it's up to you guys.
I don't either. I have nothing to hide.
The uh the the big guy might have seen me.
Why don't you just get back in? Oh wait, they're gonna search.
Well, why don't I'm
me in
gonna
first.
walk over, drop Ren behind like a bar counter or something where people can't see, and then I'm going to, as Ren changes, be like, "Oh, let me help you up. You look like you got roughed up real bad." I feel like that's a thing that can happen.
Okay. Hal runs over to the side and throws Ren on the ground before immediately. Forgot how was. Let me help you up. before Ren, you were suddenly picked up by the scruff of your shirt in your small little form.
No, I'm actually gonna transform into a Goliath, one of the similar looking guard that I've seen.
Okay.
Nice.
But of course, different enough to where I don't look exactly like someone in there.
Okay. You just run to the side and transform.
He threw me behind the bar, right?
Yeah, I put him behind the bar counter where like people aren't looking, so
There's
it looks like I'm
currently
telling someone else to
actively
help.
people trying to steal a lot of the high-end booze from behind the bar.
Oh.
I mean, if people are stealing and stuff and people are running out the back door, what's stopping us from running out the back door?
There are a lot of people running out the back door.
I mean, it's up to what would you guys rather do?
You don't
Do
see
think
like the
they're-
back door. They could be stopped there, but there is the hallway that leads back there, and a lot of people are headed that way.
All right, I have an idea. If this is before I change, I suppose. If I can turn into a Goliath and I can get both of you next to the big hole, I can start yelling at you and push you out the hole, and cast Featherfall on both of you. And then as you're falling, pull me, and I'll be like, "Oh!" and I'll fall down out of the hole too.
Okay.
Hmm.
Not our worst plan yet.
I mean, do you want a safe way of transforming where no one will know?
Yes.
Cool. I'm gonna pat Ren across the little face, and suddenly he's gone. I'm gonna cast invisibility.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds.
Just out of nowhere.
He's
This
still
Goliath-
tiny, so I mean, I just pat my pocket.
The
If
Goliaths
he's tiny,
seem to be preoccupied
okay.
with the patrons trying to run out, and the dwarf looks at you for but a moment. But yes, it does look like you were just tapping your pockets before they go back to essentially fighting off the crowd.
Cool. I'm just going to assume Ren is flying around now invisible.
I'm gonna get to a place where I can, to the best of my knowledge, transform into a Goliath.
Okay. So go ahead and roll me a perception. See if you can find a room in which you might be able to do this.
Okay, perception is +4, so 18.
18. As far as out here in the open, unless you go underneath a table and suddenly there was a Goliath there that wasn't there before, you can either go back down the other hallway, or there is the door that is on the south side, or it would be north side wall that is here. That room has not been broken into because there's the door and wall that leads over to the hallway on the other side. This room here is still open, or the door is closed, but it's not it has not been destroyed.
There's dwarfs that are working here too, right?
Yes,
Would it be less noticeable to become a dwarf?
possibly. Definitely a Goliath from nowhere is a pretty hard sell.
I'm gonna transform into Strongbellow instead.
Okay. You gonna go just under a table?
Yeah.
Go ahead and I'll roll a stealth for you. Don't worry about it.
He would have advantage if he's invisible.
Turned a 2 into a 19 plus your stealth. Go invisible. As Ren, you suddenly, in the action of changing your form, you swap from an invisible fairy into a visible dwarf beneath the table.
I use message to How and tell him to grab a bottle and get Zinnia. Or go grab a bottle, get Zinnia, and stand by the hole. Or make your way to the hole.
I'm gonna message back Do you want me to first see if there's a way we can just leave by like paying a guard, just in case, because they might remember us dragging someone with us.
Fair.
I'm gonna keep using sending. I'm gonna try that. If it doesn't work, I like your plan.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk up to the dwarf that eyed me before, and because there's people pushing around and stuff, and I'm just gonna from the back of the crowd just be like, I have places to be. I will pay to leave this line. This is a waste of our time.
Roll a persuasion at disadvantage.
Fair enough. 11. Okay, so 11 plus. Can I guide myself for this? Because I was.
Yeah, since you're actively making a plan here and it's not off the cuff.
Okay, so it's 11 plus 7, so that's 18 plus 2, so unnatural 20.
Okay. As Hal begins to claim that they've got better places to be, this doesn't really seem to concern them. As the dwarf pushes another person over, the Goliath shoves the small gnome's body, who seems to have died where the Goliath stabbed him before, outside. Most people are backing away from the Goliath at this point as you stand strong and resolute with your wife standing right nearby, strong and also has better places to be to get out of here. As the Goliath looks over to you, kind of looks you up and down before he says, "You seem to have big hurry to get out of here, little drow."
There was an explosion. I don't particularly enjoy being places that have such an open view. And I'm putting out my arms into a T. Pat me down. Go for it.
So you willingly just kind of hold your arms out like that?
I'm holding my arms up, basically being like, Hal's demeanor is basically, don't waste my time. Like, this place blew up. This is not a safe location. I'd like to take my business elsewhere.
So the Goliath looks down and he throws the dagger into the ground as it stabs into the wooden floorboard. And he comes over and, like a baby, picks you up underneath both of your arms and turns you over and grabs you by the feet and starts shaking you.
Hey! What the hell are you doing to my husband?
Do you kind of feign damsel and stop it? Just...
But then also grabbing whatever coins are dropping out from underneath.
I mean, Hal has this stuff all like secured in his bag.
Okay,
so I'm
okay.
assuming it's not like stuff is falling out like crazy, but I'm shaking down in case there was something big. I'm assuming that's what this guy's looking for.
He's shaking you at first with both hands, trying, yes, to see if there's anything big, before he holds you up with one left arm and starts just patting on your leg, where most people would keep like knives in their boots, etc. Do you have any weaponry in your boots?
Hal has his ornate daggers, but like Buddy can take them and see like they have not seen literally any use. They are like decorative things.
He is going to take the daggers out then,
Okay.
before he just kind of drops you onto the floor and observes them. Before he does the same thing, he just throws them right into the wood. And he says, "Get out of here."
Thank you. Also,
No.
may I get my bodyguard? I'll pay for him to leave if need be.
You two came in alone. You have no bodyguard here.
We met my bodyguard here.
Who's your guard?
He's a dwarf that was here.
Go ahead and roll a deception.
Okay.
Zania, you can aid him in a way if you'd like.
Aiding!
Okay.
How are you going to aid him? No. If you want
Oh.
to add to the conversation to give you advantage.
Oh, shoot.
If you don't know what to say, then that's fine, but you can.
I don't know what to say,
Can she
actually.
give me back massage for guidance? So 19 to 7 for persuasion, so 26 to 28.
26. The back massage guidance does not happen, as you've already said what you want to say.
Fair enough.
But
Fair
26 is pretty good anyway. So do
I'll
you
accept
point
a
out...
back massage anyway.
Yeah, it's just a good back massage. Do you point out your bodyguard?
Before this happens,
mhm.
I would like to use minor illusion and make it look to like I have like a piece of wood lodged in my skull with some blood trickling down.
Awesome.
But I'm standing there just angry.
I'm going to point him out.
As he looks over, you see him. Go, see the medic. Go. Before he points to the door and he opens the door. Somebody else tries to rush out before you, before the dwarf meets him with a palm in the face and just shoves the tiefling down. Before they allow you
I'm
out.
gonna flick the dwarf and Goliath a platinum. And as I'm walking away, like watching the dude get like palmed into the door, I just like look at the dwarf. I like efficient work, and I'm gonna walk out with my bodyguard and wife.
They look at you slightly confused, but you walk on out, no problem. You begin
I
walking.
often pay them for leaving.
Oh
so-
no, they take the money, but they're confused as to like this is weird. This is weird as you two walk out and towards the gangplank to exit this floor. As you're doing so, you hear another loud explosion on the opposite side of the building. Another as wood and splintered stone goes flying off on the other side. Only the north and south end of this building are holding up this structure. 150 floors of wood, stone, furniture, and families are being held up by a few dozen planks. As you can begin to see them almost bow out like a Pringle.
You start to run, doing my like, come along, honey, and I'm gonna grab my bodyguard and we just run.
As you
'Cause
look
this
up
is all
and
your
run,
place.
correct. As you run and kind of look back, everybody roll me a perception.
Oh no.
It's broad daylight now, isn't it?
No. It's nighttime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
14.
14, 5,
18.
18. Ren, when you look back, you see what looks like a fly in the distance zip offwards to the north. But
In my head, I'm thinking of a word I can't say here on this channel.
HE double hockey sticks. Gosh dang. Gosh dang, dilly darn.
Next Tuesday.
As Ren, or the dwarven bodyguard, continues to follow Zinnia and Hao. You rush down the gangplank. Now on the 49th floor, there's a web of other gangplanks, ladders, rope bridges, in which you can go across different buildings. Where are you all headed?
We be needing to head to the Red Wagon Inn.
It sounds good. Lead the way, bodyguard.
The Red Wagon Inn will be to the northeast of you. Is that where we're headed?
Is it further? It's further down, correct?
Oh yeah, it's ground floor.
Oh, cool. I would like to boop, 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 and I would like to cast Feather. Or actually, yeah, just Featherfall on the three of us,
Oh, cool.
and then
Okay. Ren, Zinnia, and Hao, you all jump off the gangplank and slowly descend downwards towards the ground. As you do so, you see the sight of several people flying, not like jumping or running fast, quite literally flying overhead at breakneck speeds back towards the direction you all just left.
Is
After,
there like a super team or something that like helps people in this town?
not like,
Well, I mean, people flew towards it though, right? Or are you
Correct.
describing flying as in like something burst and someone went flying?
they are actively flying towards it, but there's no...
Yeah, I
death
say
or
that
death
to Ren
following.
then, and ask him like, is there like wizards and stuff like designed to help in these kind of situations?
You can roll a history check for me, Ren. 12. Not that you know of. You've heard of large buildings like this falling before and never heard of any sort of solution to that problem.
oh,
Could we tell if they had like armor or like capes or something?
You could see them. Absolutely. They were robed.
Oh, okay.
They look like Will.
Yeah.
Here comes the super cult.
We're the cult of fallen buildings. Our God is here.
We've come to pray among your people. Praise be.
So
And yeah, we
eventually, you Mary Poppins down and kind of do the parachute type run fall onto the ground before you have nothing but the street in front of you to make it back to the Red Wagon Inn. It'd probably take you 2-3 hours from this point. It's middle of the night. You'll get there before sun rises.
2 questions. So is the building teetering like as we are?
It is currently out of view since you have jumped off and gone away.
Oh, got it. And then the second one, is this
it
part of the
was doing
city safe to be in at nighttime, or is it the type where we need to be inside now? Great.
You could ask around.
There was a lot of people in the gambling den, right?
Yeah, there was a solid probably 100 or so.
And theoretically, they would have maybe gotten street parking.
If you'd like to head back and see if there are any carriages awaiting at the bottom floor, you absolutely could.
I mean, we just jumped off the floor. Like, can I see anything with it? I'm not gonna run backwards, but like from where we jumped down, can I see anything on street floor that looks like someone may have decided to get someone a little parked little wagon that someone might not miss very much?
So you turned the corner trying to get away and out of sight and out of view, but you quickly peek your head back around. Go ahead and roll me another perception.
I will do such a thing as this. I'm going to guide myself because I need to declare that. Not a very good roll in total, but perhaps the gods are in our favor. That is a 9 total plus 2, so 11.
There is, in fact, a wagon down at the bottom, meant to be outfitted by 2 horses.
Oh, so it's just a wagon?
It is just a wagon, absent horses, as if parked for long periods of time.
All right, we'll just leave then. Darn.
Okay. Heading back to the Red Wagon Inn, best you can find yourself there? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ren, is this street safe at night? I'm sorry, sir, bodyguard. I apologize. I never caught your name.
Strong Bella.
Strong
Yeah,
Bellow.
we've had Strong Bellow protect us for such a long time. I'm doing that thing where I'm pinching Ren's cheeks like, look at this good guard.
I'm sorry, we just have we just have so many bodyguards. I don't know who to be anymore. Anyways, I'm dropping it. I'm dropping it. I can't do this for much longer. Is it safe to be on these streets at this time? Strong Bellow.
No.
All right.
It's night. Do we want to just park? I make a dome and then we go in the morning.
Not a bad idea.
Is anybody around us right now?
Go ahead and roll me a perception.
Hey! That's a 9 plus 4. Hey!
13.
13.
You
Numbers.
smell... Will disappears. You smell heavily the scent of bread, as if you're near a bakery of sorts. It's so pungent and so just there. You can smell roasted nuts of pine and pecan and walnut. This is a bakery of good quality, but you also smell garbage and hear the sound of a bin being rustled through. As you look down to the end of the kind of block between the 2 houses, there is a small, what looks to be garbage bin with its lid poked slightly upwards.
Betsy. Here's Betsy.
Betsy.
Betsy, is that you?
Do you run over and take a look?
Yes.
That was
I'm
such
sorry.
perfect timing.
Wow. Wow.
That's perfect timing.
Wow. Wow.
So, do you run over to the garbage can and take a look?
Yeah, see, I want to see if it's Betsy.
As
With
you
timing like that, how can you not?
as you go over and fling the lid open, suddenly what must be a family of 5 raccoons go scurrying out from inside of this small dumpster here. As a quick pause, Dinky, those raccoons that were chasing your squirrel friend, they have been just the rudest. You mean to have a word with them, but they have eluded you. However, suddenly you hear the little sound of a bunch of raccoons go rushing by, and you hear the lid of garbage can open. And you turn over towards the street, and you see all of the raccoons go rushing outward.
Get back here! Dinky not done with you yet! And Dinky is gonna cast Speak with Animals, and he's gonna start chattering back. But he's not gonna say very nice words to these raccoons, so he's just like...
As you all see the raccoons go rushing away, as Ania backs up, suddenly, Dinky, can you describe what they see as a man hunches down and gets on raccoon level to speak to them, what they see?
They see a Dinky. Dinky is a 5-foot tall half-elf manlet that is shrouded shrouded in a cape that looks like leaves made of foliage, almost kind of like a ghillie suit. He's wearing a light blue shirt that is patchworked, as if he's only owned this one shirt and has mended it over and over again. It's nicely tucked into some very baggy pants that are filled with mushrooms and roots and other little trinkets that he's forged and found in the woods. Dinky, of course, is covered in goop because he just came out of a dumpster, so he's probably a little stinky. But they notice that he has nice, pretty blue eyes, a pale complexion that's slightly sun-kissed, and a nice, cute little buck tooth. And Dinky's getting a little savage.
Mad props to Jakey for making this art like 2 hours ago for Dinky. So whoop, look at that Dinky art. That's some good Dinky art right there.
That's some good dinky
That's
art.
some
I
Dinky
love
art.
drawing dinkies, honestly. I think, like, I wish more people would.
The
do
real
some
money's
draw
in Dinkies.
It's true.
It's awesome. It's fantastic. I love it so much. It was such a pleasure too to see him crank it out all live on stream with amazing music and great entertainment. You guys should check it out. I'm gonna shill for Jakey right now.
We all simp Jakey.
Yeah.
What can you say? As you all see that, get down on raccoon level and begin speaking in raccoon. You hear lots of chirps back and forth. As Dinky, the raccoons speak back to you and inform you that they were just looking for their friend. They only wanted to talk to your squirrel friend to find theirs who was picked up by the games.
Dinky's gonna continue to chatter, and ask them for clues of where they think my little squirrel friend is.
Yep. We had to borrow a little squirrel friend. He came. He was. It must have been 20 buildings down. He was over there. We saw him scrunch under. I thought he was trying to hide a nut, and we thought maybe we could talk to him. And he didn't want to talk to us. But then a man came and picked him up and threw him in a sack and took him down inside the cellar, down by over 20 buildings that way.
Dinky's gonna cast Locate Animals, and he's gonna say kind of out loud to him like, Charleston, and he's gonna think of his little squirrel friend that got picked up, and he's trying to detect him within 5 miles.
As you begin to chant your friend's name, Charleston, your dearest and longest friend, Charleston, you begin to feel the connection through him. Through the wood underneath your feet, it almost vibrates, and you can feel your foot begin to pull you in the direction that the raccoon points. He's nearby. Must be less than a mile away.
Cool. Does Dinky notice anyone around him?
With your passive perception, actually, after you're finished with this conversation, you take a look over, and there are suddenly 2 drow and a dwarf staring you down from the alleyway.
Dinky is going to freeze like a deer in headlights, kind of in a pose, still kind of crawled and just kind of like at the crowd, and not make any subtle movements because he thinks they're predators.
Zinnia throws down the trash lid that where all the raccoons came out of. Then does she see Dinky? Do they meet eyes at the same time?
You saw Dinky, dear. You
Oh,
saw
okay.
all of this, but you couldn't understand what Dinky was saying until he started chanting Charleston.
Sorry, Gary. I'm just gonna look to the other two like Ren. Strong Bellow is clear. This normal.
Oi!
Oh, we're doing the Ministry of Silly Voices tonight, and I love it. Continue.
That's it.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
You just yelled oi at him.
Oi.
Nothing.
The raccoon scurries off at the loud dwarven sound, and you suddenly lose your raccoon talking friend, Stinky.
Dinky's going to Dinky's gonna look and just be like, Friend? 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 And
Can you do that original face just one more time for me?
Friend?
Okay, continue. I won't lose it anymore, but just the one time I had to lose it. Go ahead. Continue.
Oh God, he looks like he's gonna stab us in our backs and eat our skin.
I wasn't concerned about that at all. He just looks like a dude who's not having a good day.
I mean, did you see the way he was crawling, like at raccoon height? I don't know if that guy's right in the head.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he was actually talking to the raccoon based on his facial expressions.
Dinky, you can hear them speak as they talk about you. You're maybe 20 feet away from Dinky.
Dinky is going to cast level 1 good berry, and so he's just going to have a bunch of berries in his hand.
Suddenly, almost tryptophobic, like sweat pouring out of his hand. A bushel of good berries is in your hand.
Yeah, nope. Nope.
Poisoned, clearly poisoned.
Friend? Dinky's going to eat one. Dinky good. Good berry.
Your name is Dinky.
Yes. Dinky. Me Dinky. You friend? It's going to continue to hold out the berries until they make a move on them.
Hal's going to walk up and humor this. And Hal's hand is going to like ignite an eldritch energy while he grabs the berry, just doing the whole like, I even hiccup on this berry and I'm going to fire eldritch blast. But yeah, I'm gonna like slowly pinch a berry, the topmost berry, just so it's like not like, because I can tell he's caked in like mud and stuff. So I'm like, and I'm gonna eat one of these hopefully good berries.
I need you to roll me a con saving throw.
Okay. That's an 8.
It's great berry, actually.
Oh,
They misnamed it.
Nice.
It's got one of the best berries you've ever had. Matter of fact, to you, it tastes like a mini apple.
Dinky goes, good, full, yes, full. And he's going to rub his belly. And he's going to smile. And he's going to show his cute little buck tooth. And he's like, friend? Yeah?
Yeah. I'm gonna cast Prestidigitation so that like not so like his dirt and his charm is gone, but so like the smell of like garbage is off of him because I can tell like he just came out of like refuse, and I'm gonna make him like smell like lavender and herbs. So it's something still familiar because I'm seeing what he's dressed as, like he's in foliage. I'm assuming like if I suddenly make him smell like like OxyClean, he might have an aneurysm. But like I'm gonna make him smell like lavender and herbs and things, and I'm gonna distinctly show that I'm like watch magic, and then like these sparkles and things come from Hal's hands that like twist, and some of the dust and dirt comes off of him and like vanishes into Hal's fingers.
Dinky's gonna go. Dinky dank. Thank you, Dinky.
Yeah.
Dinky no like doo-doo.
I'm gonna kneel now, so I'm on his level because I'm assuming he's still crouched. I'm a How.
Dinky's gonna now take up a clean hand and pat him awkwardly kind of on the chest because he doesn't really know how to greet other people. Yeah, just puts his hand on his face and goes, Dinky, nice to meet, friend. Put his hand down.
I'm gonna also like pat his chest. It's nice to meet you too.
While this whole interaction is happening, Zia is ready to cast Sacred Flame just in case anything went wrong. But also, how you feeling? How's that tummy?
The berry's great. I'm gonna flick a good berry back at both of them. They're good. He's chill.
Oh.
I think if anything, he's lost.
Oh. Oh, well, now I feel like a jerk. I'm gonna eat the berry.
Zinnia, as you take a bite of it, it tastes fermented. It's almost like a gusher full of wine to you. It tastes fantastic.
Dinky, great.
Common
Sorry.
forest sign of approval.
Sorry.
Dinky, okay. Dinky's actually gonna start to tear up. Dinky very lost. Dinky needs help finding friend. Dinky
seeing that
needs
he's
Charleston. And that's it. He's gonna say Charleston.
I'm gonna Hal's hand glows like blue, and I'm gonna put it out for Dinky to put his hand across. When I lock fingers with Dinky, both of our eyes turn blue, and I'm gonna cast Encode Thoughts so that he sees like a full map of what I've seen of the town basically rush through his head, so he gets like more spatial awareness of like where they are and whatnot. Just exactly.
Dinky.
Dinky,
But
how
just
long?
so that like he can. Pardon?
Sorry, Dinky, how long have you been in the city?
Not very long. I just recently crept into the city.
You seem to have basically swam up through the water. You see that they also had an issue with the water very recently and have been here in the city total about the same amount of time, but have seen entirely different parts of it than you. You've been tracking your little squirrel friend for a long time now, but have yet to find him. But as all of these buildings rush through your mind, you can think of no place that you would have seen or hoped that Charleston would have made his home.
Okay.
Sorry, continue, Jakey.
Oh no, that was it. I was just like, because he said he's lost and How doesn't know what a Charleston is, but also so that the player will has exposition, so we don't have to explain everything.
Exactly.
Dinky,
I just saved you
Dinky,
30 minutes, chat. Hey.
Does Dinky still have that sense of that draw, that pull towards Charleston?
You still have the spell going, because locate animals lasts for a while. You still feel a pull to the east.
Dinky's gonna turn and face east, and Dinky must save friends. Bad people taking Dinky's friends. And Dinky's gonna look at the ground, gonna put his hand on the ground again, and look towards east. And he's gonna, I guess, start walking that way.
Ren, Zinnia, How, you see Dinky, basically almost like a metal detector with his hand, put it on the wood and just kind of almost in a wheelbarrow type walk, follow along the ground, seeming to follow some vibration in the wood to the east. You need to go to the northeast. Now is either a great time to avoid Dinky and head straight north, or follow Dinky to the east.
Dinky's
Either
gonna
option
drop
could be wise.
also drop berries on the ground, like trying to get
Like
like
Hansel
animals
and Gretel.
to like kind of get them to follow, kind of like, you know, like when you throw like bread to ducks, because he doesn't really know how to socialize with other beings, and he goes, "Friends, come help, friend."
Ren, Zinnia, and How, I need you to roll one more perception for me.
Awesome, because this whole time I've been looking out the alley to make sure we're not being followed.
20. Nat 20?
20 total.
20 total.
17 plus 3.
Zinnia?
15.
15?
17.
17. All three of you look back in the direction that Dinky came to the western alley, and you see there seems to be a gathering of around 30 pigeons that seem to be following nearby Dinky.
Birdman.
Dinky, are those your friends too?
All
Friends.
animals friend of Dinky.
I see. Cool. That's kind of cool. Waste, berries, good berries, waste. How do I tell him that I don't want him to waste the really good berries by just leaving them on the ground?
I think he wants us to pick them up and follow him, so they're not really a waste.
Okay. Follow.
I was gonna say, as team leader, Zinnia, are we following Dinky?
Oh, that's a lot of pressure. And this is a team effort, but team. This is a team effort, and I think when we run into someone who needs help, we should help them.
Say less.
I start walking forward. And as How does, from the building, because they were perched just waiting the whole time, I'm gonna have Pickle hop, and it's gonna like take a berry from Dinky, and Pickle is gonna ride on Dinky's head. By the time Dinky tries to like pet or touch Pickle, Pickle's like just like moving around and avoiding his hand, just like like holding on with his claws, just like scurrying around. So it's anytime he goes to touch him, it's just like this whole dance of just like
Dinky, there's this,
lots of like owl movements.
a period there where you try and be as quick as possible, but the owl just it seems to be magically inclined to be faster than you would expect. This is a very rare owl. Good friend.
Dinky just chuckles.
As the group, what I'm hearing is that you're going to follow Dinky?
We're already in the alley, right?
Correct.
I would like to use minor illusion real quick to make a 5-foot box around me. And I'm gonna turn back into regular wood elf Ren.
Okay. Ren, you just slide off to the side near where the kind of garbage area is before creating a small little box and emerge a wood elf entirely differently.
Mm-hmm.
Now is the plan to follow?
And then I'm gonna follow.
Okay. Dinky, you look back, and suddenly the dwarf is gone, but a new wood elf friend. Wood elves you are quite familiar with is following you, as well as the two drow.
Dinky's gonna speak some Elvish.
Ren,
Elvish,
do you speak
Elvish.
Elvish?
I do.
I do as well.
What do you say, Dinky?
Elvish. Translates to friend.
Is that GFY worthy?
I was so ready for Elvish to something like, "Ah, yes, hello, my good chaps. My name is Dinkleberg."
Oh yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give you a GFY there. It's worth it, very well worth it, but
They're always worth
Elvish.
it. They're always.
Elves are
Elvish.
Pokemon.
elf. As you begin speaking to Dinky in Elvish.
Where are you from?
Dinky points to the trees.
Dinky
I'm from.
points, gestures outside of the city where trees may be.
And that's it. He goes, Keeps walking.
In Elvish, do you know any forest folk that talk about reincarnation by any chance?
Dinky's gonna maybe recall some history to find that out.
Go ahead and
Is it
roll
a
history.
random?
Also, while Dinky's rolling history, make sure you do your entry into the giveaway because we got 4 to give away tonight. And we're about to give away 1 since it's on the top of the hour. So about 30 seconds while we do this history thing for Dinky. What'd you roll?
Dinky rolled a 1.
Dinky is the apple that fell very far from the tree.
Dinky.
Dinky ding dong.
Dinky, there's other forests in the world. You just thought there was the one.
Oh. Okay. Well. Zinnia, do you think Ada could possibly help find this little thing?
Oh, looks like the giveaway just ended, by the way. If you didn't get to enter this one, that's totally okay. There's literally 3 more going on tonight. But who won? Lanta, go ahead and tell us who won this giveaway. The Creative won this giveaway. Hey, congrats, Think Creative.
Congrats.
Well done. Well, your first mystery token is sometime tomorrow during one of the D&D games, you can give a mystery magical item to one of the players. This item will be legendary in power. This will alter the course of the game entirely. I won't be able to say what it is, but on the level of the One Ring is pretty good.
Whoa.
You know there's a green kobold who needs that.
I mean, same.
And the actions in which these events occur and happen are canon, right?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Raid boss kobold. Raid boss kobold.
Right. So you have a token to give away a magical item. New giveaways starting. We'll tell you what the next token is at the next one. But, Dinky, you don't have much memory. You're currently focusing on Charleston. Are you still heading to the... Oh, go ahead, Zinnia.
And then after that, after the whole ordeal, I'd just be like, Ada. I'm just assuming that Ada was just like flying outside. I would not want Ada to go inside the gambling den anyways.
Ada has been flying around the building and has been hovering overhead, keeping watch.
Yes.
Also, with the familiar, you can make them go to a pocket dimension anytime you want. So if you just snap, they can disappear.
Or
and then
that's
you can
where they've
snap
been.
And
Oh,
you
right.
can choose either way.
Right in the collar.
All right. Ada. Dinky.
Ada comes out of the
Ada.
collar.
Dinky.
Dinky, go ahead and roll me a history check one more time.
Ada.
Ada.
That's the command word for summoning Ada. Ada.
What we got there?
I got an 18.
18. You have never seen a creature with its bones sticking out that has lived before. The fact that this one is all bone tells you there's something quite special about this. That, along with the very fast-moving owl, these are special people.
Dinky is gonna place his hand on Ada's head and say like a burial ritual in Druidic, because he doesn't understand that this dead creature is living because he's only been near decomposed animals that were not so lively. So Dinka Darkalak Dinky Dinka Schmucken Markamuk. That's his druid.
As Atta looks up towards you, Zinnia, suddenly the skull in your hand, Dinky, moves as it looks up to Zinnia and says,
Hey, I gotta admit, I'm kind of uncomfortable about this.
Right. It's okay. Dinky. Gentle.
Dinky very gentle. Does
as it like growls at you. You actually know that you can speak to most animals, but you cannot understand this one.
Do we know the actual... Well, I don't want to meta, but what we know, the actual language that Otta speaks?
Someone did at one point, and Xenia knows because of telepathy. But yeah, someone did who is no longer around.
Idead.
Dinky goes, cute, and then keeps walking.
Okay, if you don't have an inspo, you can take it.
So Ada could, be our eyes in the sky. You want to describe what Charleston looks like to us?
Oh, yeah. Charleston. Little furry friend. And he's going to point to he's going to pull out an acorn and hold it up.
Oh,
Charleston love.
he's talking about a squirrel. I thought he meant beaver there for a minute. Yeah, okay, I could. I'll look out for a squirrel. I'm sure there may be a lot.
Or Ren, are there a lot of squirrels in Curtin?
A lot of things like rats, squirrels, birds that can survive in city life are here.
Xenia,
Right.
I really appreciate you asking me all these questions, but I don't know the answer to most of them.
I'm sorry. I just assumed that you were from here, and I just keep on defaulting asking you.
I mean, I once saw a snake in the road, but I think anything's possible.
Xenia, as you're talking to Dinky and Ren, you see the light of a lamp seeming to come out from a couple blocks away, off to the north. You're currently headed to the east, but there's somebody seeming to move in a similar direction to you, eastward.
You know what? Someone right there, you guys might be coming. We should just get going. Not stay in one place too long. You know what I mean?
I've assumed we've been walking towards where Dinky's going because Dinky's
You have been
Great.
going just kind of
Scooby-Doo
like a
thing.
slow walk, headed
Great,
to the
great.
east, but Xenia does notice this.
All right. It's parallel, like walking.
They're walking parallel. They're about 2 blocks to the north of you.
Yeah, just keep an eye out for that, guys. All right.
Noted.
Dinky, as you've been walking, you feel yourself getting closer and closer to the pull of this magical inclination toward Charleston is. You can feel the wood begin to almost warm up beneath your feet. It feels like home as you walk further and further to the east. Before you begin to get excited, as you can almost feel it shaking like an earthquake beneath your feet, indicating you are very, very close to the building that now looks before you. The building is quite tall. It is equal in height to the others, somewhere between 100 and 200 stories up. There are no stone buildings on the bottom floor of this, indicating the economic status of those who live here being quite low.
Dinky's going to turn and look up at the group. Dinky, think Charleston Inn.
Okay. Like up there? Charleston. Charleston.
Ada growls at you, Ren, before flying upwards.
Okay. Charleston.
What are y'all doing?
I guess I'm just slowly. Charleston.
Wow, riveting stuff. As the lantern to the north begins to turn and walk southward in your direction.
Charleston.
So Dinky's like leading us and stuff. Is there any indication he's cast a spell or anything? Or is it just like we're just following this little fella wandering?
He just stops and has said, I think that they're here, in Dinky speak.
Here, I
Here.
think.
Here I
Dink.
think. Yeah, here I think, Dink.
So do you think they're inside the building?
I sense Charleston. And
All right,
then
well.
I think he's gonna look for the door.
Okay.
Here or
Go ahead and roll me an
Here.
investigation.
here?
While they're looking for the door and whatnot, I'm gonna clock this person that's walking with the lantern. Can I see anything on them, or do I just see a light? So I've got my big.
They're
old
not
dark
that far
vision.
at this point. It is dark, however, their lantern illuminates them pretty heavily. It appears to be two men walking in similar garb to those that you fought when you fell in the water. Hard, heavy leathers, and a cloak that goes down past their waist.
TD. Okay. I'm gonna
Dinky.
use sending so that Ren hears in their mind, and so does Zania.
It's TD, so hands in your pockets kind of thing.
With that, I'm gonna convert some sorcery points and gain back a 4th level spell slot.
Okay.
And Charleston.
Ren keeps yelling out, Dinky, what did you get for your investigation?
Dinky is going to announce that he's going to look for the door and cast guidance on himself. And he's going to do a high five to himself.
Everybody has guidance. Let's go.
So, all right.
What a fun and balanced spell to have in an invigorating D&D game.
That is a 21.
21. You find, as you quickly kind of run around this block, is how tells everyone, like, hey, watch out, they could be TD, as you walk around the building. And Dinky, you see the front door that leads to this building. You also see a cellar door off to the right. Think like, we're out in the fields, Pa, kind of cellar that's kind of like angled, very much like a storm cellar. Not very much like the trap door that you went in before. It's oddly
what kind of
placed
cellar?
here. It's a storm cellar. What did you
Yeah,
hear?
no, I got that, but could you just explain? Sorry, I think I just missed that.
Oh yeah. So it's like a cellar that it's to help you if there's a storm.
Yeah, but there was something specifically you said that I think I just need to hear again.
Oh,
just
that.
so I can clearly
For the visuals, right? That's when the
yeah.
child goes up to their father or mother and is looking out in towards the field of wheat and other things that they may grow, and sees a storm coming, and they say, "Where's the storm cellar, Pa?" As they.
I'm so glad the child's voice just makes Rybo go, Pa! I'm a normal child.
I just think of the Wizard of Oz, so everything was said in Sephia.
That's exactly.
And she's like, and the cellar door is like flinging all around.
I'm just picturing the Tumblebutts Cyanide and Happiness sketch. Tumblebutts. Yeah, so
You grow a neck during puberty.
some people don't. Watch 90 Day Fiance on TLC now.
We've derailed.
As Dinky, you
Sorry.
find the cellar door and the front door to someone's home. Jackie needs to keep us on track here.
True.
But she's not here.
Charleston.
The Dinkster is gonna walk up to the cellar door and see if it's like open. And
As you take a look at it, it seems to be a regular cellar door. There's two wooden panels. It's not just one door that opens. It's kind of a double door type thing. There's iron handles on it, and it seems to have kind of the rectangular stone outer part, which is strange again for here because it should just lead underneath the wood and now underneath the city where Hal, Ren, Zinnia, you've all been before. You've not seen a trapdoor like this. This is a cellar.
Dinky,
Oh, after you.
Dinky was gonna say and point to the big macho dwarf. Help! 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 Muscle man, help! Help! Dink!
He's Ren right now. He's a little skinny elf.
Help! Help! Skinny muscle man.
Also, how at this point? Because like, does it look like the TD people have seen us?
Oh, actively, yes. You've gone around to the other side of the building, but they still seem to be walking your way.
Okay.
They don't
well,
appear to
how
be
is
in any
gonna-
rush either.
Okay. How is gonna like, because he knows that we see him. He's gonna take his little Tinder kit and like the remnants of like one of the cigars he pulled out, and Hal's just gonna like act like he's just out standing on the street having a cigar because he's still well dressed. Because I mean, we've been just walking, so
Yeah.
As half the party is gone, what do you want to do? What do you want to do now, guys? The moral compasses are gone. As Al, you quickly light up your cigar. You're still in fancy clothing, though they are a bit dusty from the explosion, which you could easily magic away from you and Zinnia.
Which I
if you'd
did.
Like, okay. So you and Zinnia are looking perfectly fine, still in your fanciful garb. As you light up a cigar, you see them turn around the block. They're maybe 50 feet away from you at this point. As Dinky, you call Ren over towards the cellar doors there. If you're going to try and go in them, you'd have to be quite quick. Otherwise, that you can actively see these people with the lanterns right now. They can probably see you as well as they come
Dinky-
walking in your way.
Dinky's gonna turn and he's just gonna chuckle like he just was like a little kid being caught doing something he wasn't supposed to do, like getting on the counter to like eat like a cookie. He's gonna go and then he's gonna squat down, and because he's nervous, he is going to use his Fey woven armor to instantly cast invisibility on himself.
As Dinky sits on the ground, Ren, you're holding the other door there. Before you look over to Dinky and go, should we put before Dinky is gone?
Oh, son of a bitch.
Zinnia, just so you're aware. Oh, never mind. Yeah.
bye, Zinnia.
We don't need no moral compass. As the TD folk begin walking towards you, they both seem to be half elven with scars across the left eye. Both of them similar scars, as if intentionally made, kind of right down their eyebrow, and that goes down their cheek.
Oh, so edgy.
So edgy. As
While
as the one walks nearby with the lantern, the other one holds their hand on a hilt, like one might a gun in a holster, as they approach the party. You were about to say something.
I was just gonna like How's just kind of leaning on one of the walls while these two are just doing a thing, and How's just gonna pull the casual like evening.
Evening.
How's not starting beef until there's beef.
What are you doing out so late? Believe the guards have a curfew. We're out doing our civic duty, making sure everyone's in bed.
Well, I wanted to go out on a stroll and smoke. I don't see any guards bothering me, so I am smoking here. My guard's over there. They're just trying to get in our house.
Go ahead and roll a deception.
Wait. 9 plus 7, 16.
16. The one not holding the lantern looks over and says, "You have another?" Looking at your cigar.
I reach into my coat and I hand one.
He comes over and holds it out, hoping for you to light it
Yeah, I light it for him.
for you. Is this Goliath?
Yeah, recently got some cut for myself, so a gift is a gift.
We here are law-abiding citizens, and we hope that you are as well. So maybe we can look the other way for these if you have 3 more.
I don't think Hal would have had 3 more, so I'll just indicate to him that I have like, because I think Hal would have grabbed enough for like an evening kind of thing. So I have maybe 1 more, so I will give like the last one that Hal has, and just kind of be like,
I have no more on me. Went through the pack, but they're all yours.
The other one with the lantern now grabs it and shoves it in his pocket before looks at the 3 of you. Says, What's a wood elf doing with 2 drow?
They're good help.
Doesn't look like good help. What do you do?
Are you?
Is he talking to the wood elf or me?
Yeah, he's talking about the wood elf. Being that you two are so well dressed, what do you do for help?
I just keep looking around at this door.
Are you investigating the door, or are you just miming that you're doing something?
I'm actively ignoring them, like I can't
Got
hear
ya.
them.
Hey. The one with the lantern goes and stands like over you at this point.
I'm gonna use message and point my thumb backwards at how I'm deaf.
I just say out loud,
He's deaf.
Roll a deception. Both of you, actually.
Well, howdy. Okay. It's a 24. It's not as good as I thought it was about to be. But...
24 and...
18.
Okay.
11 plus 7.
Or looked back over at the two of you before looking back down at Ren. Says, if we come back and see you still out, we'll have to report it to the guards, you understand. So, suggest you get where you're going, or maybe give us a few coin to where we might be lost for a while and not have to come back.
We'll get going.
Red.
Wait, do you turn around and pretend to be scared, not knowing they were there? They are the only light source in this area. And so the sudden, oh, there's
And I'm
someone
also,
there,
like,
does seem out of
squinting.
place for them.
I'm also squinting at them.
To be fair, though, it was just us standing in the street corner, so he might assume that it's just me walking up to him. So seeing that it's a stranger, I feel like that's not a super uncommon thing to be like, oh, who the hell are you?
It, being that you two are drow and do not carry lanterns, the sudden only light that has been standing near him for 2 minutes, go ahead and roll me one more deception.
All right.
I'm not helping him with this.
Can Dinky like reach and kind of like grab on Ren to give him guidance while he's slowly
Cast the spell as an
Did you
action. your
know he was
invincibility will
gonna?
wear off.
I was gonna say, did you know he was going to scream? And are you willing to lose
No.
your invisibility?
No, Dinky's gonna be chilling.
It's gonna be a 26 for me.
They
Dinky don't need
do.
to guide that.
As you, they both, thinking that something is up, they look around. One of them pulls his knife out. You can see the knife is very similar to the one from the man that you fought before, falling in the water.
It's a nice knife.
That's a nice knife.
I'm gonna make some just random gestures.
Chat. High or low?
Just thinking no sign language. Oh no. No.
High, low, half and half.
I love a good half and half.
Yeah, I'm seeing mostly high, so okay. Do they know? Does one of them know sign language? That's a 7. As Ren, very rude of you to do so, pretends to know sign language. The one with the nice stagger looks back towards you and almost like he's practicing his jutsu, begins signing things towards you in a quick manner.
That was actually real sign language too.
No, as they look at each other before have a good night and walking off.
I look surprised that they're leaving.
They walk and cross the corner and head to the north.
I wave.
I look at Ren and message in his head as loud as possible, "You're deaf!"
I just do some random gestures.
And again, in sending, it's just, you could have just said you didn't want to talk or you didn't speak common, but you just chose to say, "Welp, I'm deaf."
Big old ears and deaf.
I give him the, like, you know, the flip off emoji. That's my next sending. That just appears.
It
in his
appears
head.
mentally in your mind. Zinnia kind of looks and says, where did the squirrel boy go?
Dinky's gonna remove his hood. And he's just gonna chuckle. Oof.
Just a head appears.
Yeah.
As his head moves, suddenly the leaves kind of shake on his attire, and you can see the entirety of his being. He seemed to be like one of those portraits where somebody paints themselves and suddenly blends into the wall, like very advanced camouflage.
Like a hobbit's cloak.
Kind of.
Cool.
Kind of.
I like that. That's cool.
Okay. Did you find the squirrel in the cellar?
Here. And Dinky's gonna try and open the cellar door again.
The cellar door is not heavy, nor is it locked. As the two of you open it, I have to roll for Zinnia on something. So, okay.
Sacred flame.
As the two of you open the cellar door, you're greeted by the smell of mothballs and mold, as there's a stone stairway that leads down into the dark.
There's death down there.
I'm gonna cast prestidigitation on both Zinnia and I, so that like, both of our noses just smell of like, a good counter smell is like orange peel. So it's just gonna smell like citrus.
I cast Countersmell as you create a scent of gain in your nose, as you and Zinnia, those with the most sensitive of noses.
I cast counter smell. Yo.
Fresh
Very good.
orange peel fills your nose, and no longer the moldy dust enters them. However, Dinky and Ren, it does smell quite dank down there.
Nice.
Dinky's gonna pull out two little closed flower buds, and he's going to cast Druidcraft to have them bloom. And they're actually going to be jasmine flowers, and he's going to give one to Ren and kind of like pin it in its hair so it's kind of close, so that Ren can smell just mainly the flower and kind of cut the dank of the mold. And Dinky's going to do the same thing too, and he's going to pull out a braid from the side of his head, and he's going to put a little flower in it, and he's going to start looking down towards the cellar to see if he can notice anything with his dark vision.
I was going to say, Dinky has dark vision. I think Ren, again, is still the only one without dark vision, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna take my arm, like lock arms with Ren, so that I'm gonna guide Ren because I can see better than he can. Also, when you start describing, you take two flowers. I swear, I thought it was just gonna be two flowers. Thunk.
I should have done that. That would have been good.
That's literally. I was like, oh, that's what it's building up to. Much better and much more cute than what
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah, I'm trying to go for a cute role, you know.
As the two of you now with flowers in your hair, the orange scent wafting into Zinnia and Hao's nose, Hao, you lock arms with Ren and look down. The stairway only leads to what must be 10 stairs down, just enough to where you could get your head underneath the floor. This is very much like a cellar. You'd have to go down to where you could actually see what's in there. Regardless of dark vision, there eventually is just stone based on the angle that you're at before you could see further in.
Is this where Charleston is.
Dinky, you feel a pull down into the cellar.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And
You
he's
know,
gonna kind of like have his hand out to kind of be in like touch reach, and he's gonna have his other hand kind of on the wall, and he's gonna slowly move his way down the stairs.
Ren.
I was just gonna say to how, last time we went down some stone stairs, there was a shadow dragon and a cult.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zinnia said she wants to follow him, so.
Okay.
Dinky's gonna chuckle. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
How is just gonna send Pickle so that Pickle follows Ren's feet and is gonna peck the ground because Pickle can see in the dark. Is gonna peck in front of Ren so Ren can hear like when steps drop. Is basically like, so I'm locking arms with him, but I can't really fully like give him that, but I'm giving him the equivalent of like echolocation. So of just like follow the pecking sound. And yeah, Pickle's just gonna follow Ren and do that.
As
I could also just Ren pulls out a torch and uses prestidigitation.
do you light it up?
Yeah, I light the torch.
As you do so, the heavy dust that seems to pour out of this cellar lights up almost like a fog in front of your lit torch. You know how like when there's a lot of dust in a room and you turn a flashlight on, you can see it? Basically, that is what happens here. As Pickle looks down and pecks at the floor before the light comes on, and then looks up at Hal with a exasperated look before flying back up onto Hal's shoulder. Ada, as well, grabs onto Zinnia's shoulder. As do you all head down into the cellar? Okay. You walk down. The first few steps begin to reveal the rest of the cellar. This is what very much appears to be like a storm cellar. No longer affected by the heavy scent. There are old boxes and crates, what appears to be abandoned food that was down here a long time ago. This cellar is not very big. The entire room is maybe 20 feet by 20 feet. In the very center, there's a table with cards that have been left out on there, as well as a plate with nothing on it, and fork and knives. There's shelving all around with fruit that, again, has long since molded away. The boxes are sealed shut and on the side, and there are some bedrolls lining some of the shelves. Dinky, you feel a pull towards the center of the room where where the table sits.
Dinky is going to quietly walk up to it.
Dinky, you stand right in front of the table, and you feel the pull right in front of your eyes. You try and lean back past it, and it pulls you to come backwards. You get inches away from where it's telling you that Charleston is. Go ahead and roll me an Arcana check here.
Dinky got a 13.
As you look around, there's obviously some magic at play here, though what kind, you're not sure. But you are certain there is magic at play.
Can Dinky see anything on the table?
You look down, see the plate, fork, and knife. There's one single stool nearby, but there's nothing on the plate nor on this small one-person wooden table.
So where's the squirrel?
Dinky wants to pick up the plate and look under the plate.
You do so. It's heavy, ceramic, nice, very clean, solid white. Go ahead and roll me an investigation.
So while Dinky's doing that, I'm just casting prestidigitation like vacuum style, just cleaning things up so that we all have a clean place to
Pulling the dust out of the air, slowly throwing it out of the cellar, creating small little sand dunes of dust right on the steps.
Luigi Mansion style.
Yeah, exactly.
Dinky got an 18.
As you look at it, on the bottom of the plate, in a small indentation of letters, is RQ.
Rage quit.
Throw the plate
Real
down, you break it, you revert to your
Real,
last quick
real
save.
quality. Real quality. Dinky's gonna turn to the group and confused as much as they are. Is Charleston's supposed to be here? Charleston. And Dinky's gonna try and investigate more in the room.
I'm gonna swat in the open air.
You push some dust out of the air.
Charleston. Charleston.
You yell out.
Could-
There is a huge echo in here for this small room. There's airtight. There's not much else in here.
Charleston.
Could I try to I'm gonna ask Dinky, like, Dinky, Dinky, can you give me like any more information on what Charleston looks like? Like, give me a vivid picture so I can like have like a image of him in my mind.
Dinky's gonna squat down onto the ground, and assuming there's still a layer of dust on the ground, he's gonna just do his best to doodle a squirrel.
Roll me a sleight of hand.
It's
Does
gonna
Dinky
be a masterpiece.
colored
21.
Ooh.
20.
Like somebody who has a dusty car and somebody's going for Instagram clout, a very perfect portrait of Charleston the squirrel, with teeth even larger than described by Dinky, sits before you. Wow, it took him 30 seconds or so to do this. It's like watching a Jakey at work.
Perfect. Awesome. I'm going to close my eyes and imagine Charleston in my brain, and I'm gonna put my hands together and focus and cast locate creature. Hopefully, see if it'll work.
As you focus
On your mind.
your mind, you begin to feel your hair, almost like a spidey sense, stand up on its end, and like almost magnetism, static cling begin to pull you forward towards the center of the room. You try and go around it, and it pulls you back.
Center as in like up, down, or just like right?
About
I
5 feet off the ground, 5 feet below the ceiling.
What is it?
He's right. Charleston should be like right here. I just feel him here.
Let me try something.
Hal's gonna step in the center of the room and pull back his mask, and instead of that black smoke that usually pours out, this like pink haze comes out, and Hal exhales, and I'm gonna cast Fairy Fire. So a 20-foot circle of just sparkles and this like bright pink glitter sprays from Hal. And anything invisible is illuminated, and any object in it is just illuminated. So we're all covered in
I
sparkles.
was
and
going to
glowing.
say, literally 20
Um,
feet. This is a 20 foot by 20 room, as how you, a sudden jet of pink sparkles fly out and touch everything. Some of them float down, much like the dust that once was in this room, but now everything has a thin veiled coating of sparkle glitter, as if you accidentally coughed while trying to slowly dab some mica powder and resin. You
Very
see nothing
specific.
but those of you in the room. Yes, it is, sadly.
This is going to be a hard question to hear, Dinky. But when you find a creature, and I'm going to kneel so I'm on like Dinky's level again, because I've like noticed Dinky likes to crawl and whatnot. Is when you look for someone, if that someone is gone or something happened to them, does that still bring you to there? And I don't mean gone as in leaving, Dinky. I mean gone.
Dinky says, "It feels like heartbeat. How can something with no heartbeat give heartbeat?"
Look at Anna.
Right.
Ada has been sitting on Zinnia's shoulders. Gives no indication of fear. Sits there just like Pickle does.
Is there? I'm gonna look around the room and see. Like, we found the plate that says RQ. Is there anything else that has insignia or anything? Does RQ stand out? How is it going to look around for clues or things
Yep.
that may stand out?
There's several crates here in the room, a couple barrels as well as if supplies. Go ahead and roll me an investigation.
Can I guidance high five someone?
Absolutely.
Boom.
If anybody's going to look around, you all can roll me investigation.
Yeah.
I'll take a gander.
Natural 20 to 21, and then +4, so 26.
26, Zinnia. 2, Ren.
I can't see anything in the dark.
Dinky.
13. Rybo Dad's lucky number.
Dude, it is. It's annoying how good he is with that number. As how you look around, you see everybody else mostly spending their time just trying to get your fairy fire dust off of things, but you look past that. You're not worried about that. What you're worried about is finding out what's going on here. You look for RQ, other signs of that. You see a couple of crates here before you pry them off. The nails that are holding them in, old, decayed. The wood itself kind of frail. It's an old crate. As you look inside, there are clothing, some pants, some shirts, some shoes. As you open the other one, some tools for fixing up the house, a couple of mallets, little wooden toolboxes, old rusty nails. You don't see anything else with RQ on it. You don't even see any other plates. That's the only thing that says RQ in it in this room. You turn out all of these crates. You open up the barrels. The barrels are full of salt, which is probably meant for brining some sort of pork or fish in a solution. Salt's still pretty good inside these barrels, but there's nothing in here that can give you a clue to RQ. You're certain that there's nothing in here of use. That this is an ordinary storm cellar that hasn't been used in a long time.
I'm gonna, because How has one more thing, but I can't do it until we short rest. So How's gonna close the cellar and just let people know I'm gonna cast the dome so it can at least sit for an hour. But I'm gonna make sure the dome is over the crates and the table. And then
I need an hour to sit, so I'm just gonna make the dome so if people need to rest or relax or whatever we can. But I'm going to try and dispel if there's any magic here.
because I have the spell Dispel Magic, but I'm out of spell slots.
Dinky's gonna go up to the plate and turn the plate back over and kind of just put the table back to the way it was originally.
Okay. You set the plate back down, slide the chair back in. How asks that everybody remain here for time. Do you all?
Sure.
Okay. How you begin ritually casting your spell before creating a tiny hut of comic book land as all of the words around you as you breathe out, sigh, begins to fall outwards. Woo, woo, comes out of Pickle as you sit there. But you feel fine. You feel safe within this hut. To everybody outside, it is a ball of brass in the center of this storm cellar.
Yeah, I'm gonna short rest for an hour in the dome.
Okay. What's everybody
also
doing
feel a
during
little
this
bit
time?
'cause I got hurt pretty hard when that explosion happened.
It does happen.
It do be like that.
What's everybody doing during this time? Resting?
I'm gonna heal up a little bit using some hit die.
Resting.
Dinky?
I'm gonna get
Dinky's-
a lad some apples and some fruit. I'm gonna give Dinky some
Hell
just like little things that he might munch on. I'm just gonna like kind of leave in the center of the dome.
Dinky's gonna walk up and kind of go, "Ooh, for Dink, for Dink, me."
Yeah,
And he's
sharing
gonna
is caring.
sit crisscross applesauce and scoop up the nuts and berries and probably an apple slice or two that How gave him, and he's gonna just munch and he's just gonna kind of ponder on what's going on around him. He's pretty fascinated. This is all so new to him.
As time passes, you're all allowed to get your short rest. This actually seems like a good place to stop for an early break this time rather than a late break. It's 7:45. Why don't we come back at 7:52? At the end of us coming back, we will do the giveaway for the second mystery token. So, Lana, be ready for that. That'll be in like 7 minutes. We'll come back and go right back immediately into doing things. Sound good?
Sounds
team.
good to me.
We'll be back in 7 minutes, everybody. See you soon. Welcome, Biggity, back from the break. Let's continue right where we left off after we do the next giveaway. So, Lana, if you could go ahead and make sure that we have... Oh, wow. It literally, as I clapped, I saw you can no longer enter the giveaway. That was amazing. Gigantic Loki. That's another giveaway one for Gigantic Loki. Congratulations. See, you come watch a lot, you win
Loki,
giveaways.
you're not gigantic.
Just
Yeah,
a
he
little
is. He's
thick.
a big old boy. But congratulations, Gigantic Loki. You win the second mystery token. This mystery token can be used tomorrow during the 24-hour stream to give any player a polymorph potion that will turn them into whatever creature of the polymorph spell that you should so choose. So at any point in time, you could be like, yeah, I'm going to polymorph them and turn them into whatever is
Chicken.
level appropriate, because they still have to be affected properly from it. A chicken, if they're level appropriate, why not a velociraptor? I think that sounds great too. And so they will be polymorphed for a period of time. So that will be fun tomorrow. Can't wait to see who you use that one on.
A turkey.
A turkey. So enjoy that, Gigantic Loki. And hopefully we'll see you tomorrow during the stream. You can use it during whichever one of the 3 that you want, but come join us tomorrow and have a good time with it. Thank you, Lana. Let's do another giveaway for the third token. These third and fourth ones are going to be pretty interesting. So we'll go ahead and continue because Jakey is gone, but he will be back. But you're all still currently looking around the room. How is planning to cast Dispel Magic? Ren, Dinky, Zania, is there anything that you're wanting to be doing as this hour of time is nearing its end?
Yes.
Actually, you Dinky first.
Dinky wants to go up to the table and stand on the table and reach directly for that pulsating bit of energy.
You can reach it from where you're at. It's about 5 feet up. So it's really right about the top of your head. So you can touch what you feel to be where you are being pulled towards, if you'd like to.
Yes.
Okay. You go over and you put your hand through it. And as you do so, you feel something odd. You feel your body pulling you forward, but an urge to your hand pulling you backwards, as if Charleston is now behind where your hand is. You move your hand away and you feel the pull that way now. But you don't ever touch or feel anything as you move your hand through.
So it's like a magnet.
Yeah. How do they work, man?
Oh, so are we live?
We are.
Okay, cool. Figured I'd ask. 'Cause
Yeah.
I just came back. I wasn't sure.
No, you're good. You're good. Gigantic Loki won the polymorph potion giveaway.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
Let's go.
Thank you. I would like to actually talk to Ada in that 1 hour.
Oh, absolutely.
And I want to ask Ada, like, Ada, when you're in that other plane, is it like the exact copy of this plane and then you're just like in another dimension of it, or like what happens?
Oh, no, actually, all familiars, some company, not here excluded, but actually some company excluded, are pulled right from the celestial realm. We're beings who choose to not have to spend our time in the celestial realm, and we come and help out those in the real world. I have many friends who choose to come down and help as well. So I was a good boy in life, and there I was given the chance to live in the celestial realm.
The best boy.
Okay, dang. So I was kind of hoping it was a copy of this realm, so then I can just like maybe poof you there. Maybe you can see Charleston. You know, maybe he's just here but not here. That doesn't sound like that's gonna work though. Do you like being there? Because I would hate sending you to the celestial plane if you didn't want to be there.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's so good. Everything is just filled with love and treasures for the most part. And so, but it gets boring sometimes. So I'm glad to get out, stretch my legs and my wings.
Okay, great. No guilt, felt awesome. Cool. And that sums up my conversation with Ada.
Okay. As
Yeah.
how you finish up your hour.
When Zania is having that sweet conversation with Ada, I turn Pickle back from an owl into a cat, but I'm like, okay, you're going your little fate plane, stupid. But yeah, I just make her vanish and she appears in my hood and stuff.
Wonderful.
But uh, but yeah, once it ends, I'm gonna cast Dispel Magic on this area of where we're all getting pulled in towards where a squirrel might have once been.
What is the area on Dispel Magic? You're either picking an area or a specific thing, correct? And so you're aiming for the center
One
of the room?
creature, object, magical effect within range.
Okay.
Any spell of 3rd level or lower, and any for 4th level or higher, I have to make an ability check.
As you slowly begin to cast Dispel Magic, you pull out your chalk from your components. You rub it in your hands to remove the magical properties, hoping that it will stick to whatever magic you throw it in the air and remove its essence. As you do so, you throw it upwards. And you notice very specifically that there is no magic here. In this room, in the center of this room, where you cast this and where you feel that you are being pulled towards, there is no magic of any kind here.
Something's pulling us here, but the source isn't here. That's kind of what my next thought was. So, I'm not exactly sure how we're going to find your squirrel, my friend, but someone is using magic to... How do I explain this? It's like when you're looking for... Say someone hides a cookie jar and they put cookie crumbs somewhere else so that you think where the cookie crumbs are, the cookie jar must be. But the cookie jar could be in another room entirely. Does that make sense, Stinky?
So, and Dinky's gonna kind of look around. Will you still help find friend?
Yeah. We'll just have to either go through the front door we saw or...
And I'm gonna look up. Is there any doors or anything on the ceiling? I mean, like I investigated like thoroughly. Like,
Oh, yeah.
before.
This is a solid stone room in here. This is a storm cellar meant to withstand storm, which is odd because, again, you expected just stone pillars underneath the bottom of these things. Maybe this is built into the pillar. There's nothing but the single doorway that you came in.
I'm gonna go try the door that we came in. Does it open?
Yeah. As you go, you've left the door open because nobody's told me otherwise. The door's still open. You see the night sky out and above. You see the city and the large buildings from above. You go look out. You haven't left the room yet, but you look out from the stairs and can see everything as it once was.
Do we want to, like, sleep here, get a fresh start tomorrow, or do we want to just venture through?
Probably best to stay here for the night anyway.
Okay.
I agree.
Dinky's gonna run up and close the door.
From the inside or the out?
Is there handles on the inside?
No. But that doesn't matter. You could push it open from the inside, but there's handles to, you just close it and then you'd push it out from the inside because there is no lock on the door.
Dinky has a monkey brain, so he's gonna do that.
So just close it on you.
And then he's gonna open it again.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a perception as you do so.
Dinky got a 22.
22. As you close the door, you begin to hear murmuring and whispering right before the door closes. As if standing like on the outside of a busy restaurant.
Dinky's gonna slowly push the door open so he can kind of like peek through the crack of the opening.
As you push it open, you hear it again just for the faintest moment before it disappears, and you look out. You see nothing outside the door.
Is Hao standing next to me still?
Are you?
I was just gonna farting around in the center of the room, but I do look over and be like, "You okay, Dinky?" It's a door.
Whispers. Dinky hear whisper. And he's gonna kind of have try and have Hao come over and take a listen.
I'm gonna do the same. Watch what he does as pushing open and close slowly, and How's just. I'm gonna do the painfully slow. Push the doors open, close them.
Roll me a perception, Hal. At advantage for you.
Natural 20.
Nat 20. As you see Dinky kind of, he opens and closes the door, whispers. You put your ear right next to it. And as you slowly move the door, it sounds as if you put your ear to the door of a very, very busy establishment. But as you move the door slightly further away, you hear nothing. As you push it back, you hear the same thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold it right where it's angled, and I'm just gonna listen.
Go ahead and roll me one more perception now that you're trying to keen in.
I kid you not. I kid you not. Jade Ivory, another nat 20.
I'm not even going to
The
GFY it. I like it
whispers
too
have
much.
spoken.
It makes very much sense that your character would be the one to hear it. As you put your ear next to the door, you move it what must be a millimeter. You can't hear much. It still sounds muffled through there. But you hear a few words that you can make out, that you hear a few times. Fight. Bet.
Okay.
Oh Lord, he in a squirrel fighting ring.
You're gonna go nuts in that ring, boy.
Oh my god. That was so quick.
How is going to stop and pause, and turn to everybody.
So, do you want the good news or the bad news first?
Bad news.
Red news.
Bad news is we're in the wrong place.
And
Good
News is, and I'm gonna like give like Zinnia a bicep slap, just like right on the muscle.
Good news, you'll probably get to use these. We need to find a fighting ring.
Oh.
Whatever this door is, this is a beacon of some kind. And I don't know what a squirrel has to do with it. And we're going to talk about that. But these,
And I'm gonna prop my elbow now, like in between the door, and then. Oh wait, no, I'm not. Just kidding. I'm gonna use the minor illusion so I can recreate the whispers I just heard, so everyone hears exactly what I just heard. Because I was about to do the same thing. I was like, wait a second, I can just do that.
You hear the same kind of thing, a very muffled, almost like the Harry Potter memories where it's just, you can't make out the words, but you do, because you hear it so often, you can hear bet, you can hear fight.
And that's where
And I'm gonna point at Ren.
your friend is, correct?
Oh yeah. Sorry, it's been a crazy couple days. Day? How long have we been here? What's going on? Where am I?
Yeah. So, my thoughts, we sleep here. We go in immediately in the morning, find this place, look it up, and then when the festivities open, we go there. Objections?
Overruled.
I smack him upside the head.
That's not how that works. Great one-liner, but not how that works.
Oh.
You know what, Ren, you do get a GFY just to get you at a 2. Just to get you at a 2.
Just finding reasons.
Is that the plan? Is everybody just gonna close the door and go to sleep?
Mm-hmm.
Dinky's fine with that.
Is anybody on a
Um,
specific watch, or are you all just going to sleep?
I'm gonna remake the dome first off because we're not sleeping without this dome ever again.
Okay.
Even if we're in a hotel, the hotel's gonna have a dome in it.
Dinky wants to take first watch.
Okay. Who's second? Who's third? Who's fourth?
I'll take
Who's on
next one.
first?
You also get one.
Honestly,
Not the
fair.
same.
If I can reference Abbott and Costello for a
Right.
GFY, that's a GFYL well earned.
There's a World of Warcraft version of that is just so good, dude.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about. Hal will take once everyone has slept for like I'm assuming 2 watches. Hal will watch the rest because it's 2 hours per watch. Yeah.
Yeah. Since there's
Yeah.
four
So
of you.
I'll watch the last 2. Yep. So if it's watch, and then Hal will watch the last 4 hours of their sleep.
Ren, Zania, any other of you going for second watch then?
I'll go.
Ren, you just gonna sleep
I'm
or
asleep.
join someone? Okay. Ren offers to go to sleep. Right. I need Zania, Dinky, and How to roll me perception checks.
Also, before Zinnia goes to bed, I go, good night, wife. And I just let.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night, husband. Oh, God.
Oh, wait, I'll actually wake up for fourth watch.
Okay. You gonna join How on that one?
Yeah.
And while Dinky is on his watch, he'd like to look for cosmic omens.
Okay. Ren, I need a perception from you then too if you're gonna join in. But Dinky, tell me yours.
Dinky got a 13.
13, Zania.
10.
10, How? 6, Ren.
No, wait, 15.
Oh.
15. That's why I was spacing my hands out
Fair enough.
slowly.
I got this number.
It's a gorgeous. Show it.
Nat 20.
Nat 20.
Look at you. Dinky, as these new good friends sleep nearby, some of them snoring pretty heavily, you look and try and find some cosmic omens here. As you look towards the ceiling, it's so dark in the room, you can almost visualize the stars above. The city is not where you want to be. You want to be able to see the sky, but you create one in your mind. Looking up at them, you see some of them flash bright white, almost as if to signal you, telling you something. But before you recognize, wait, that is not a star that's flashing. A light appeared outside the door. Very briefly.
Dinky is going to go and listen. Try and peek his way through.
You go and head up to the door. Do you open it to look through?
He's going to listen first.
Okay. You begin to hear footsteps walking away from the door.
Dinky is going to open the door and see if he can.
You look out, and you see what look to be 2 people, man and a woman, walking away in fine, noble attire, heading to the south, out from one of the alleyways. It is still nighttime, though sunrise should be nearing.
Dinky is going to crawl up to How and go,
Are you sleeping?
How in his trance, like elves do, How's eyes open, wide open, but like almost by reflex, not to hurt Dinky, like arm out, like almost punches him, and he's just like, I was trancing. Dinky, let's set some ground rules right now before you explain what is going. Do not ever just sneak up to someone with their eyes closed, that close to the ear, and whisper, "Are you sleeping?" Because that is something a toddler says while they're holding a set of scissors that they're about to give a parent a haircut.
Dinky's
We
gonna put his
good?
dagger away. I'm just kidding.
How
His
suddenly
two
just
daggers
as an
held together
undercut?
with twine.
Dinky goes,
Anyway, what?
I saw people.
These people.
They were running outside.
This is a city, Dinky. There's gonna be lots of people. You're gonna have to be more specific.
They were right by the door.
Like running?
Not running, but they were leaving right from door.
They left the door.
Ah! Dinky's just as frustrated because he he doesn't know.
I doubt they saw it, Dinky. I make the dome. When you step outside the dome, Dinky, it's like camouflage, okay? So wherever we are, I pick it. So unless they came and hit the dome or something, like, we're safe in here. It just looks like a big rock.
But they look like they had shiny, jingly stuff, you know. And he's gonna like pull out a gold coin, and he's gonna like jingle it in his pocket. They looked like they had a lot of this.
Then if they were someone who's rich, maybe they were just walking through the street. I mean, if you want us to wake up and go find them, we can, Dinky, but I don't know if it's who you're looking for.
Dinky's gonna sit down and go, I don't know.
Well, let's keep that in mind then, okay? Good job on your watch, buddy.
He's gonna go actually outside to look up at the stars to then really look for some omens, and he's gonna pull out a tablet that has a bunch of fine points poked out of it, and it kind of looks like someone explaining, like wormholes. Like you punch one hole on this side and the other side, and then you just stretch the fabric of time. Except it's kind of like a map.
Yeah. As you look up, because the buildings are so tall, it's very hard for you to see through. You can only line up one single star, and the realities of city life kind of set in that you're not going to be able to see a full star view unless you're on the top of the roof, and you just kind of feel saddened. That's not to say you couldn't go climb up.
When Dinky leaves, Hao sees what he's looking for because it's translucent. And while Hao goes to sleep, I'm going to change what the inside of the dome looks like, but Dinky won't know till he's back.
Okay.
And Hao's just going to go back to resting.
Dinky?
Dinky's gonna open up his cloak and kind of insert the tablet and let out a sigh, and he's feeling kind of bummed. He's had a really rough, confusing day. And he's gonna kind of like wobble back into the cellar and close the door behind him. And he's gonna just walk through the dome.
Dinky, you close the door behind, walk back in. What do you see in the dome now, Hao?
So the inside of the dome is like a 3D perspective thing now, where Dinky would be standing in a forest orchard. That kind of looks like the orchard we've been to, but it's somewhere near and dear to Hao, where it's like a large forest of like these trees that are bioluminescent, covered in bioluminescent fungi and things. But at the top, it's like a stone cropping, and there's a massive crack in the earth that just opens to like the faintest shred of starlight. The rest of the view looks to just be this open forest. And I don't know where Dinky's traveled, but this is clearly somewhere in like the Underdark or the Down Under. Where it's just like lots of dark hues illuminated by like bioluminescent, and just the smallest fragment of starlight shining through. And it's not real, which like I'm assuming Dinky would be able to tell, but it's something that it's like he can see like the outline of the moon almost, and it's doing that slow perspective rotating from the outside.
Dinky, you're quite wise. You recognize that this isn't real and that Hao is causing this. It's up to you if you've ever been in the Underdark before. But you have heard from your animal friends who have visited bats, etc., down in the deep, and given you this description either way.
Dinky's got a smile, and he's gonna kind of like quietly step into where the moonlight is beaming through the crack, and he's kind of gonna do a little whimsical twirl and really take it in and smile, because this brought him joy, and he's just gonna feel a little bit better. He's gonna smile. And he's gonna look at Hao and he's gonna go, "You friend, you good friend," and give Hao a hug.
How was like overturned, still trancing, because like how when he trances, it's like kind of like meditation, but he was facing from way where Dinky was. But when Dinky's like standing doing that thing, like one eye opens, and as he closes it, he feels like just like him get hugged, and he kind of like lifts his like shoulders from him, almost like impulsively, and then just kind of like takes his like his hand and like back of like Dinky's head and just kind of like ruffles like the back of his hair, like kind of thing.
Yeah, you too, kid. Go get some rest.
I just imagine one of those like friend scenarios where like you're laying down ready to trance and Dinky just comes over and just kind of does the hug where he like puts his face on your face. You friend. And you're like, yeah, get off.
Yeah.
Dinky's gonna lay on his bedroll.
As Dinky, sleep slowly takes you and I become very blurry for some reason. You begin to fade.
Sleep slowly takes you, and then suddenly Rybo's camera blurs out and goes, "You're finally awake."
I hope she's still making that mead with juniper berries. As Zania, when you're on your watch, it's uneventful. You hear nothing but the silence of the cellars before a bit of light begins to trickle its way through the cellar doors. Eventually, you wake up Hao for his watch. Same thing. Ren, you join Hao at the last part. Before about 2 hours pass, you eventually decide to wake Dinky and Zania up as a full rest has occurred. If you need your full rest, restoring everything that you need, you've gotten it. 8 hours has elapsed.
How pops a rib back into place, because thank goodness. Oh boy.
Husband is your watch.
Camera can't
Yeah.
comprehend the dome.
Yeah, I get up.
Thank you, wife.
But I do that thing where I like go to shuffle her hair, but I just shuffle like right in the forehead.
Zania, after a bit of time, the spell eventually fades because you were just using disguise person, correct? Or disguise self. You currently look back like Zania once again. Dinky, now a Leonin instead of a drow sits here with you.
We're a party of shifting people.
Hey.
Dinky's gonna go,
Hey. I am a cat that speaks, yeah.
"You big." And he's gonna go up and he's gonna squeeze her bicep.
It feels like stone.
Dinky's gonna go, "Friend?"
Dinky, it's still me. Yeah, we're friends, yes. Of course.
Wow.
I make a little minor illusion like head bust of the drow, and that turns into the lion just so he can put 2 and 2 together of just like this friend is this friend.
The little anamorph of 5 faces that slowly turns from drow to Zania. It's kind of horrifying
Make
on
it
the third and
painfully
fourth
slow
one.
so it's nice and cursed too. You know,
Yeah.
the whole like face just anamorph.
Yeah.
Dinky pukes up his good berries that he had for breakfast. No, I'm just kidding.
You all sit here now, what must be close to midday as you went to sleep very late. What are we doing?
So, let's go see if we can find this place, eh?
Hey. Hi. Yes?
Whatever you want.
Agreed.
Sorry.
I'm just trying to think. We're almost... You only have like 2 more scrolls, right, Zania?
Yeah. I have this rope, and it's the rope I stole, like, in the beginning of Kern.
That will probably do it. Okay. I just want to figure out ways we can get around traveling where you're safe.
Yeah, you know what? And then I'm gonna try my best to, like, put it on and then hunchback as much as I can, where I'm, like, hiding my hide a little bit.
Ren comes up and tucks Zinnia's tail under the cloak.
Right.
I want to hide that.
Zania, you wear it like a belt now and hunch over.
And Ada, I think I'll just have to send you away because you're kind of obvious. I'm sorry.
Not a problem. You kind of stick out like a sore thumb. I'll miss you.
I'll miss you too. Have fun. All right, I'll call you as soon as I can.
Before you suddenly smoky bones disappear inside the collar.
Dinky would like to get up, stretch, and he's gonna detect find traps. He's gonna cast find traps.
Okay. Let me look up specific on that spell real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You find a bunch of TikTok stars.
Thirst, not thirst traps.
Follow me.
Find twap.
You just hear
As-
no, it's just.
Call me when you
You
want.
want me? Don't need me.
Call me in the morning.
Look, since it's all about Satan, can we get him on Red Wagon Inn? I would love it.
Please.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Everybody spam Lil Nas. Right. So, as you're all planning to leave, Dinky kind of sits there thinking for about a moment. And you're making sure you're not going to get your legs stuck in a bear trap anymore. It's happened one too many times. You don't want to do it. And this kind of reeks of that scenario. And as you do so, you suddenly, your eyes kind of, you rub against them and you look around. The world looks the same to you. However, through the wood, the bits of the kind of grain that runs alongside, you can see a blue light, teal in color, going through the grains, as if emanating from outside of the doorway.
Dinky wants to share this information with the group.
Share it. He's trying to say, like, oh, do I have to be it and say it in a dinky way, or can they just understand?
You chose this.
I know. That's the fun of playing this character, and I really enjoy it.
I love this. So
I love the challenge. Dinky feel twap. Blue light between quacks of door.
How? Roll me an Arcana check.
I roll an Arcana.
No, because of something How specifically has seen before.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? 18 total, unless I can guide myself.
You
17 with
remember
one.
a teal-like color in the pool of the temple that you went to. That sounds like conjuration magic to you.
Huh. In the... Oh. Interesting. Huh. Okay. I'm just trying to... Sorry, how doesn't stop this long, but Jakey is trying to process this. Does that have a feeling that that has something to do with, like, someone recently activated something, or when I was, like, listening to the sound that feels...
You only know about the color that Dinky is describing to you. You might be able to go take a better look outside the door, but all you know is that it sounds like Dinky is talking about conjuration magic.
I'm going to quickly ritual cast detect magic, just like pop my book open, make my magic eye drops and drop those in. And once that's ready, I'm going to carefully open the door.
Dinky, you still have the memory of the blue light coming between the wood grains etched in your mind. But other than that, you don't know of anything else there. As How quickly pulls out some runic chalk and starts breaking it and chanting a spell. It's going to take about 10 minutes for How to do this, as How just starts speaking in a language none of you really understand. What's everybody doing during this time?
I'm sitting playing with a deck of cards.
Okay. Zinnia?
gosh, don't have Otto to talk to. I don't know what I would be doing.
No worries. You don't have to be doing anything. Just be waiting.
Pickle
Punch it.
chills with Zinnia.
All right. Yeah.
It's a cat now, though. It's the or whatever the like bongo thing.
Bongo
That's
cat?
that's going on right now. As how eventually your eyes begin to glaze over and turn into a bluish flame with fog that emanates off of them. As you look forward, you can see that same blue light that Dinky described to you, seeming to pour out from behind the grains of wood. You'd have to go outside to get a better look.
I'm gonna open the doors.
As you push it open, you lay the doors on their side. Seems to be light emanating from both sides of the doors. You'd have to get out. You guys can close the door if you want to take a look at things.
Yeah, we
Okay.
do that.
Ren, Zinnia, Dinky, you all leave the cellar.
I mean, yes.
You don't have to. I'm asking.
I'd probably stay in the cellar.
Ren's going to stay in the cellar. Zinnia, yes.
I'll also stay. I don't need to expose myself.
Ren and Zinnia stay in the cellar. Dinky?
Dinky's gonna follow.
Dinky, you rush out knowing where the light came from. As you and Hal close the two doors, you can see faintly something that you didn't see before, but it's mostly because you weren't really looking for it. There seems to be magical etchings right near where the handles, the two almost iron bar-like handles that go into the door are. How? You can see it plain as day. There are two half runic circles on these handles. You can also see lines that seem to etch themselves around where the top and bottom of the metal touches into the handle. Looking at it, you touch one of the handles briefly, unafraid of the magic here. It seems that both of these circles are half complete, but as you touch one of the handles, you can feel it shake a little bit. You may be able to turn both of the handles sideways.
Hal gets like a big grin on his face, and I quickly open the cellar doors. Both of you out.
Okay.
Okay.
This is going to be one of the coolest ways to wake up this morning, if I'm right.
All right.
I'm gonna, like, when they come out, slam the cellar doors close and just like Doctor Strange style. And then I'm gonna swing the doors open.
How? You all look at How as he says, "This is going to be one of the coolest ways." As he turns the two handles, Dinky, you see the magical runes of the circle seem to line up, creating a perfect circle of teleportation. As the handles turn sideways, How, you suddenly find yourself vanished and pulled somewhere. Zinnia, Ren, Dinky, you all see How disappear, and the two handles realign themselves upwards.
Dinky want to do it. Dinky want to do it too.
Dinky runs over immediately, turns it, vanishes in a flash of blue light.
Awesome.
After you. Oh.
What? What? Okay.
I don't go. Yeah, you go.
Okay.
Ren,
Reluctantly.
much more slowly, not excited at all. You find yourself pulled through. Zinnia, same thing. Okay, as you
Spader appears.
all suddenly leave nothing but a trail of dust in the city where you came from. However, you feel yourselves being pulled forward, almost as if shrunk in size, through one dimension into another plane itself, centered in the room where you once were. You suddenly appear How, as Ren flashes and blue light, Dinky, Zinnia all next to you, and you stand in the foyer of what is a pretty crowded room. There are lots of people sitting in here on tables, all mostly clad in robes with spell scrolls and messenger bags that would hold components and materials around them. This table is almost like a small little diner or a waiting room. There are tables of 2 to 4 people eating at once here, lots of them scrawling on these quick notepads. No one seems to look or care that you have come into this room, as if this is normal or commonplace here, as you are in the center of the circular room with a hallway that leads to the north from here. In this room, there is lined with shelves and shelves of books, as well as a board with strange number of creatures drawn in magical etching upon them, seeming to be almost, let's see, everybody go ahead and roll me a history check.
Maybe that's a 3.
History, you say?
Yes.
Hey, that's a flat 18.
16.
16, 18. How?
7.
7 from Dinky. How? 3.
Three.
Solid. Ren and Zinnia. Zinnia, you've participated in these before at your home, and Ren, you've been in the city long enough to recognize a tournament board. Seeing 32 slots that seem to line themselves up. Lots of these creatures' faces crossed out in runic chalk, but many of them looking quite terrifying as far as the pictures would be to describe them. There appear to be in the semi-final stages of some sort of tournament here that you've stumbled upon. As you look around, several patrons all eating, mostly at this point breakfast and lunch type materials, scones, some hams, cured bacon, etc. As there are lots and lots of tieflings, humans, and elves in this room. Probably about 30 people in total. Many of them old, especially the humans. Lots of them old men with long gray beards.
Wizard.
That means he's a wizard.
It's the only logical response.
Yeah.
Wizards.
Jakey has a theory, but I don't want to say it out loud.
Yeah, say it out
'Cause
loud.
This is,
What's wrong?
is there someone with like a ball on their side that's a red top, white cutoff on the bottom or something? A guy with a looks like he's about to turn his baseball cap around? Because that's the vibe I'm getting right now. Like, is there someone behind the counter that's going like, you know, like Ludicolo?
Look, man, you could ask around if there's anybody you might recognize here, but your memory is a bit misty, you know.
Yeah, we're looking for someone named Soot.
Fit mustard.
GFY Rybo.
Yeah, I'll take it.
So,
Well, How didn't notice this, so How doesn't say anything about it. He's just kind of looking around the room. He's gonna find a table and pop a squat.
Ren does very much what I just did. Wizard.
This is wizard. Looks around.
Wizards.
Roll me a perception check for anybody who is not joining How at the table and is actively taking a glance around.
Wizards.
18.
With my one. Wizards.
Zinnia, 18. Dinky. Zinnia, though they do strike you as wizards, they may just be learned and elderly folk. But there's definitely an aura of magic in the air with the books that are on the wall, the runic chalk on the outlines of these creatures. And as you look at the tournament board a little bit more, the creatures themselves that are drawn in chalk seem to move, almost like the art in Harry Potter where they are alive within the parchment. But it is a very crude, almost caveman-like drawing of these creatures.
But they look scary.
They very much do. You can go get a better look at things if you'd like, but
You guys, what's a squirrel doing amongst this lineup?
Wizards, man. Wizards.
I mean,
It's gonna get demolished.
Is there a squirrel among them, like on the drawings?
you could go take a look if you'd like. You want to
Going-
go up to the board?
Over.
Mm-hmm.
You all walk over to the board. There is absolutely no way that a squirrel would be amongst these creatures. You see some with many heads, some of them that appear to look like dragons in their drawings, some of them almost pure balls of armor, some of them spewing fire, some of them almost with feet as big as the bodies themselves. These are insane magical creatures. Zinnia, you recognize one of them in a drawing to be almost like a ball of tangled vines with a very large mouth.
What do I recognize it to be? As?
From when you were in the Feywild, and there
Marlborough.
were those vine-like creatures.
The one where Gideon got. Oh wait, nope.
You didn't die, but you all went to the Feywild and were very afraid of them.
Right.
Barbaros ain't no good things. Wizards. Wizards.
Oh wait, they're Murvaros?
Yes.
Oh god. I don't know why the name. Anyways. Okay. Oh my god. Are they feeding Charles? Are they feeding Charles into these things? These things need to eat, right?
That'd be rude.
Dink-
Marcus.
Charleston.
No. I didn't say anything, Dinky.
I'm gonna go sit across from someone, like while they're having this like existential crisis. I'm just gonna sit at someone's table where they're scrolling on a scroll. Whoever
Absolutely.
looks the most approachable, like someone that wouldn't punch me in the face immediately.
There's an old woman who sits there, human, the only human female that you see, who sits down with long black hair that is thin bits of gray. She must be in her late 50s or so, as she looks down and is reading through one of her books. She's clad in white robes, not anything you see amongst the others, but seems to have a kind face.
Excuse me. I don't mean to bother you or anything.
What?
A friend of mine has had a pet of theirs stolen, and we've been drawn to this place. Any odds you've seen a squirrel?
A squirrel in fighting? Or perhaps as a prize? You have to be a little specific.
Could honestly be either. It's just a squirrel.
Okay. Well, your best bet would be to go ask the games master, see what is up for bids. Is this your first time here? How did you find the establishment?
I'm resourceful.
As we all are. How did you find the establishment?
Well, I mean, I talked to someone outside. I said I was interested in this kind of thing, and then bada boom, bada bing, I found a gate.
Who did
They
you
knew
talk
more,
to?
but I don't know. There was a pair, TD uniform.
Concern grows on her face.
Not a friend of mine. Don't worry.
But the TD know of the location?
No, he just mentioned that he thought there was something in the area. I walked a couple blocks with magic sight, and I found it.
Go ahead and roll deception.
Can I walk up as well?
Absolutely. You all hear Hal talking about this, but you're standing just a few feet away.
19.
You see a bit of relief wave over her. I'm tired of having to move. If the TD know of this place, you must inform the other patrons.
Yeah, I'll let him know. I'm not a fan of the TD myself, so
Good. None should be.
yeah.
But, fine. If you stumbled upon this place by accident, I either suggest you immerse yourself in the culture, or leave post-haste. This is not for everyone.
I kind of pause and I'd be like,
Yeah, you caught me. I didn't talk to TD. I had assumed this could be a TD thing. Yes, I found this by accident, okay? You caught me.
Go ahead and roll persuasion now that you've lied to her before.
still 24.
Okay.
I'm kind of now like how is being like, oh, I didn't have to lie that like I got in here. So that's kind of like Jakey doesn't have the words for it, but how's gonna be like, look, I lied to you because I thought I was in trouble for being here, but like I'm open, like he's pulling the veil because he's like, oh, you're not TD. Oh, thank God. Yeah, I just stumbled on here.
She kind of like, just be honest. That would have been far easier. No one in this town likes TD.
Hey, I'm going to be honest. The last people I was honest to have tried to like shake me down and take money from me. So if I see someone clad in white robes, as much as I want to trust you, you seem like you're magically capable. So if I wasn't wanted here, I wouldn't want you to not want me here. Does that Does that at least check for the reason I lied?
That does make sense. Forgive me. You all do not look. Forgive me.
Ren walks up with a piece of parchment, opens up the blank parchment, and says, "Kind matron, have you seen this man?" And then uses minor illusion to make an ink drawing of Marcus.
She looks at you. Go ahead and roll an insight, Ren.
Could you imagine if this was Marcus disguised? Because I would duke my trousers.
What am I rolling for? Insight?
Yeah.
+7, so 26.
26. You sense recognition in her eyes as she says, "Why do you want to know?
That's my brother,
What is his name?"
Marcus. Marcus Lemon.
Yes, Marcus is here. It seems to me, as she looks back at Hal, thinking you lied to her again, that this happenstance might not have been such an accident, but you may have been here looking for someone. Again, this could have been much easier had you just been forthright with your conversations.
And Ren pulls out a necklace with a little locket and opens it up, and there's a little picture of Marcus inside.
While she's saying that, I'm gonna do the same thing, blue hand and code thoughts, because she's magical. I am going to reveal her that, like, yeah, we've been looking for Marcus, but we didn't think we were gonna find him here, so it's not like Hal's being like, this was a lie by omission, if anything.
What all do you show her in your encode thoughts?
I'm just going to show her how that we found this place that we were looking through for the squirrel, as Hal mentioned, with this little guy, and then we turned and suddenly magic turning the locks kind of thing, and then a small encode thoughts of basically like at some point Ren was being like at the very beginning before they got in the town and being like, we got to find Marcus. So it's like these are two separate things that somehow merged.
She, seeing your hand blue, you can see her look at your hand as if inspecting the type of magic that you're doing, recognition on her eyes. She rolls her eyes before grabbing your hand to accept the memories. But she says, "Sorry." She takes a look at your locket. "I did not know Marcus had taken a lover. Well, he is, he should be in his room, but I assume that he is preparing for his fight. Might be best that you wait, or you could go see him now. Perhaps you would like a room of your own for the night?"
No, I want to go see him now.
While you do that, I'm going to go talk to the games master because I want to find Squirrel.
Dinky follows Hal.
I did not know what you meant before when you talked of the squirrel. It sounds that you speak of a magical being?
I look at Dinky.
Yeah, she looks to Dinky for a question. You don't have to answer her. You can lie to her, or you can tell her the truth.
Hal is also doing like the same look she is of being like, am I about to find out this is a hydra squirrel?
She's asking a question. She doesn't know the answer.
Dinky doesn't know if the squirrel's magical or not. Dinky just knows that Charleston's his buddy and he was taken. So Dinky's gonna say, "They took Charleston." Dinky no.
Well, if they were
Magic everywhere.
If they were magic, that would at least give a bit of an understanding, and it may be a part of the prize pool. But if not, I have no idea why a squirrel would be here. Perhaps it was transported like you were by accident, simply touching someone's leg when it happened. Accidents happen. Worse has come of the group. Please just go talk to the gamesmen. Maybe they will have more information from you. They will also know which room is Marcus's to be able to point you in the right direction.
Also, I'm Hal. What's your name?
Chat, what's this old woman's name?
Immediately when she tells me also how does the whole like
Vader Ginsburg.
So far, you've been one of the most forthright people I've ever met. You're my new best friend. I mean, these are all my best friends too, but I'm just adding you to my best friend list. You don't have to reciprocate that, but I'm just letting you know that if I see you, I'm going to greet you as my best friend.
I shall not reciprocate yet. However, we'll see.
Hey,
how
I
you-
heard it yet.
She looks kind of very. Yes, possibly yet. There's many things that could change. I am Lyra. Very nice to meet you.
Please be open and honest, and I will do the same.
Honestly, fair enough. Lyra, I had a very good evening last night, and I slide a platinum piece across. Get yourself something to drink.
She takes the coin and thank you before pocketing it in the side. As she does so, you hear a loud clink as if it joins many other coin.
Rad. Also, how, because I did get extra as a sign of goodwill, because can Hal tell she's a wizard, like by assumption?
Based on how she was able to determine what you were doing with your hand, she knows some magic, or at least knows of.
Okay, well, Hal is going to assume, and I'm going to take like 3 pieces of like Hal's special paper that he uses, and I'm going to also place that and be like,
A sign of goodwill. Unless you don't use this stuff.
Thank you. She takes the paper, rolls it up, opens up her messenger bag on the side, and slides it in. Zania, roll me a history check.
wizard friend, wizard friend, wizard friend.
18.
18. You do not recognize that type of bag.
Damn.
Are you all going to the Games Master?
I am gleefully going to the game master.
As you go up to the desk, there is, almost akin to Marcus, a very, very old tiefling with skin as dark as onyx. His eyes shine black like a shark's, and the hair that runs off of him, with not a single spark on his head, the hair that runs off of him is as white as snow. He almost is hunched over, more purely due to old age, as he turns around and looks at you all. As he stares you down, you just feel strangely put off by this man. Your glee for Marcus is suddenly kind of put on hold before you kind of shake yourself back into reality.
You, good sir, wizardly man.
Yes.
Have you seen where this man is?
That's Marcus, correct?
Yep. I would really love to know.
What have you to do with...
It's my brother. I want to go see him now. Please.
He is preparing and would be far too busy.
Right? No, he's not. I'm telling you right now, he's not too busy for me. I have come from the Scorch to come see him. I would like to see him now, please.
I cannot permit you to go in when a challenger is preparing for the next fight.
Why is he such a dumbass?
Do you say that out loud?
No, not the tiefling's a dumbass. Marcus is a dumbass.
Okay.
But yes, I do.
Agreed. He is slow of mind, but one day he shows
Does he
promise.
owe someone money?
Quite a bit, yes.
How much?
In the orders of tens of thousands.
How does that from behind?
Tens of thousands
Also,
of
yeah,
copper.
Verity's tens of thousands of copper. Yes, 10 gold.
Not the Scorch, Ashburn, sorry.
Yeah.
No.
I just shake my head to Zinnia.
Tens of thousands of gold.
Oh, that's better than platinum, right? Tens of thousands.
It is. Are you here to pay his debts?
Looks in my pouch with 60 gold. No. Unfortunately
While
not.
Zinnia does that, I'm going to take Zinnia to a table and I'm going to start doing the one for you, one for me, because I forgot to split the platinum. Because she did help me. So Zinnia, add 50 platinum to your inventory.
Oh my god, I'm rich.
Dinky walks up to this gentleman, and he waddles up, and he looks up, and he reaches into his pocket, and he pulls out a shiny button, and he goes, "This cover it?" And he puts it down, and he puts it on to the table, and he goes, "Now where's Charleston?"
He looks down at the button and slides it over towards him.
What does it do?
"Oh, I'll tell you if you tell me where Charleston is."
Who's
Dinky.
Charleston?
Dinky's getting a little tiffy. He goes, "You know who Charleston is? The squirrel."
Sorry, that was too good.
Thank you.
The squirrel. About, and he puts his hands on top of the drawer, but on top of the little desk that he's on, it's 6 inches tall. Yay big, fluffy tail.
And cuter than that button. Yes.
I have seen a squirrel come through here, yes.
Is he fighting?
No. A squirrel would have no chance. Is he potent that I am unaware of?
You die from how cute he was.
You broke Rybo. He broke a smile. I saw it.
You mean it is a wielder of enchantment magics, powerful enough to kill with a look? Is this squirrel a lich?
I don't think so. Where's Charleston?
He is in the pool, being bet upon right now. Others came in and claimed that he was worth quite a lot, as you do. Tell me now what this button does. Is this your entry fee?
Yes.
Then what does it do?
Well, Dinky has no concept of money, so he thinks it has a lot of value. So he is going to try and persuade him.
Oh, this isn't persuade, it's a deception. Depending on what you tell him.
It keeps any shirt together or pants.
One
All you
for
need is a
you,
bit of
one
thread
for
to
me.
cast it.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a perception, not a deception.
All right. Dinky rolled a 1, so that's a 4.
He looks at the rest of you before he says, "Is this simply a button?"
Probably. Can I go see Marcus?
He slides the button back across. I told you that he will be busy. You may enter the waiting area. This is your first time, is it not?
Can I see him from the waiting area?
You cannot. Spying upon the games would give you an advantage in the next tournament.
I'm not betting. I don't care.
If you are not betting and not waiting for Marcus, besides just to speak to him, I suggest you leave.
Hey, so we can bet, and you said there's an entry fee. We can enter and stuff.
Do you have a pet in which you would like to enter into battle? Or is there one you would wish to place a wager upon?
Give me a list. I'd place a wager. I'll bet on behalf of my friend who will patiently wait.
Well, very well. He begins to list off a number of creatures who are planned to enter into the next tournament. As he does so, he does make note that some of them are in the current tournament and are contingent upon them living until the next one. He speaks of the Marlborough from before. He speaks of a 5-headed creature known as a hydra with multiple colored heads. He speaks of a hydra made of pure gold. As he does so, he stops and says, "That is your friend's pet." And then he continues on forward. He speaks of what is essentially best described as a large bunny with feet as tall as a man. The bunny in itself is probably 10 or 20 feet tall. Its ears flop to the ground and drag behind like bridal dresses. There is a team of drakes from the north. The red one in particular, quite vicious. And lists off several other creatures, but those are the ones that pique your interest the most.
So, theoretically, are we allowed to watch this tournament at least, or no?
You are at the next one, but if you do not enter to watch the tournament from the beginning, you cannot come in partway through and learn information that could give you an advantage in the next one.
All right. So, in the next one, there'll be the different, like, the creatures you listed. So if I place a bet now for next tournament, we can come watch, right?
Correct.
All right, rad. I'm gonna put.
Can I get a guess on because usually there's those like wager boards and stuff assuming this is horse race style.
As he's talked about them, there's definitely 5-1 being that Hydra sounds like it's way super strong, or this one's very much the underdog, yada yada. As he goes to describe it, there's 1-1 bet for this golden Hydra that was described being Marcus's current entry.
Yeah, that's Busey.
How much money is put on the Hydra ish? What's an average bet?
Did you ask him?
Oh, is it just 1-to-1 terms? Yeah, I guess I'll ask him because it's our first time. I want to know the custom.
We deal in platinum or magical items here. Also, because it's right about 9, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you enter the giveaway. Lana, get ready to stop it in just a minute or two, so make sure you do exclamation point giveaway. Yeah.
How is going to...
Give me a sec.
I'm going to go to a table by myself. I'm going to line up a chair so it's sitting directly across from me. And I'm going to look at the chair as if I'm looking at a person eye level.
Do not fuck me.
And Hal's going to reach and take his necklace of that silverish fluid he has. And I'm going to walk up to it.
I'm going to place a wager of tears of a god.
Which god?
The god of whispers.
His eyes kind of open and then narrow before he sets down his pen and his book and holds out both hands as if to take a look at the item.
I put it I place it gingerly in his hand.
He holds it up before quickly shakes his hand, and suddenly his eyes turn a bright blue, just like yours do when you cast Detect Magic. They quickly fade, for he sets it on the table. A small circle of chalk appears from his hand, seemingly from nowhere, as if a fine mist of chalk comes from his fingers. Before, Zania, How, Ren... Actually, you're all magical. Roll me a Arcana check.
Okay. Yeah, 17
total.
19, 17. Dinky Ren?
14.
14.
Dinky rolled 12.
12. Zania and How, you recognize that he's investigating this, basically assuring that this is what you say that
Doing
it
the
is.
diamond to thing,
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
As he takes a look at it and he pulls it up, says, "Come with me." Or he hands you back the necklace.
I place the necklace on myself, and I turn to Ren.
This Marcus guy, he better win. I don't want to lose this.
I didn't tell you to bet that on him.
I know.
He already owes tens of thousands. Why would you take that bet? That's just a bad bet.
Well, guess what? If he wins, then we're paying his debt and he's helping us. Because as byproduct, this helps Zania. Also, I've got a very good feeling.
And I look back at the chair I talked to, and then I'm going to follow the guy.
I'll be
Follow
right
him.
back.
Zania, Dinky,
And-
Ren, do you follow?
Dinky wants to
No,
see
I'm-
if he can make out anything that that notices like Charleston to see how much has been bet on Charleston.
As was described, Charleston seems to be a prize, not something that somebody's
Physical
bringing.
items, yes.
Yes. Okay.
So someone bet him somewhere along the way.
Gotcha. Thank you for explaining that to Dinky. Dinky slow. Dinky's gonna
Yeah.
follow suit.
Well, Dinky's straight dumb, right, Will?
How is so excited for this Pokemon arena. You guys don't even know.
As let's go ahead and do the little giveaway. If I haven't seen it yet, I don't know if I need to. It hasn't come up as done yet, correct?
Not that I've seen.
I'm gonna just type quickly to it.
Yes.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Chris
Hey,
Credit.
Xander. Yeah, he's a mod in my Discord server.
Yeah.
Xander.
Cool.
Xander.
Playing with us.
He's a
Which-
player and can use this.
Oh no!
Wait, is that the legendary item one? Or no,
No,
which
no,
one
no.
is that?
Is this the
Oh, this is the
polymorph
next one.
No. Xander, at any point in time, a player of your choosing is affected by time stop. Any player you want gets to use time stop. One time, all normal effects apply. If they attack or do anything, they're done with it, but they can have a quick temporary time stop. You don't have to use it during your game, but you can. It's up to you. Excited, Xander. We have one more mystery token, and I promise they've been escalating in terms of power. So, let's go ahead and continue.
Next one's brutal. Just saying. Just saying.
Oh, the last one's so good. Are you kidding me? It's my favorite.
As how you begin to follow this old tiefling man. Ren, Xenia, Dinky, what are you doing?
I'll be right back. And I'm gonna go back over by the Lyra. Is there
Lyra,
an empty Lyra? Is there an empty chair?
Yeah, right across from her. Where house at?
I'm gonna sit down.
She looks at you and says, "So, how long have you and Marcus?"
What? Known each other?
She kind of gives you a knowing look, implying like have been together.
No, I think you misassume. Is that a word? No, brother.
Why can people in your group not be as upfront with me and direct as possible?
No,
I saw a
brother.
heart locket. What else was I to assume?
Brother.
I get
did
that.
also say brother.
Fraternal love.
Lyra is an old woman with hard of hearing, just like Ryan.
Ah.
And that's Ren actively like brother.
Yes, I understand, brother. Now I didn't hear you before.
Oh, sorry. But he won't let me go see him. So apparently he's getting ready to fight, or that is.
I didn't know that he was in the middle of the tournament, of course, or I would have told you just to wait.
How did he accrue so much debt?
He
Like, I know he's bad with money, but
continued to bet and kept losing. He's lost to me many a times. She kind of
how
smiles.
much does he owe you?
To me, none. He owes the establishment quite a bit. The establishment makes sure that we collect on our coin.
Okay.
Xenia, Dinky, what are you two doing?
Dinky. I know we came here for Charleston. What do you feel? Is that still going for you? You're no, that was last night already. Oh, actually, yeah, go. Sorry, Dinky.
No, go ahead.
If you allow me, I can do that thing again where I can kind of like feel the general direction Charleston's at. I could do that if you want.
Dinky's gonna nod his head and close his eyes, and for some reason thinks that putting his hands up in the air and his palms open is gonna help the situation. And he goes, do it.
Yes, you're like a projecting. They don't know what antennas are. Antennas don't exist. I don't know. Right. Same thing.
Signal stones.
Focusing, breathing, letting out, locate creature.
Xenia, you feel the hair on your body begin to stand up once again, and the static almost pull you towards the hallway that you saw Hal walk towards. Hal went into a room with this tiefling fellow, but the static pulls you further down the hallway.
Dinky, I got a good feeling. Take my hand. All right, and I onward, and we go.
Zinnia, you begin dragging Dinky along. Let's go to Hal. Hal, the tiefling man seems to have led you into essentially a broom closet. There's a small area here just for a private conversation. There are mops, buckets, a few crates within here, some towels, what appear to be plates, leftover dishware, etc., where he closes it behind. He does not make a light. He is a tiefling and recognizes that you are a drow. It is very dark in here as he stares at you. However, his eyes still pierce black in this darkness. As he turns, closes the door behind, and looks at you, says, "Where did you get this?"
I open my palm and it glows blue.
He reaches out and touches your hand.
He sees a view of a young drow, almost a third-person perspective. This drow is a little more muscular and heavier set than How is, but it's the same kind of body form. His eyes are that similar black with red piercing. He has long white hair that goes down past like his to his back that is tied in all sorts of braids and things, and he is currently walking with cuts and bruises, scrapes, scars all over. And he like digs his hands into his pockets, and as he does so, his hand basically comes through like the bottom of his pants, and he cusses to himself in Undercommon as he just outturns his pockets and drops onto his knees, where he looks up into a large cave crevice where those stars were past the forest view, and water just pours down as if it was freshly raining from above. And as he drenches himself in this like byproduct water, he hears this sound of dissonant whispers and voices that sound like hundreds, if not thousands, of different people crying, not necessarily like gendered or anything. It's just from every direction, and they stand up and turn every direction. They draw a small like dagger that they have that looks like it's bent and crooked out of shape, and they hold it out and they yell in Undercommon just to this echoing void. And as they turn past the water, they walk through, and they see the hunched over form of a being that is covered in words, things, and it's this blurry vision where it's hard to look at them and see. And as he slowly like trudges through this almost like made mud, advances, and he finally can hear one voice that he can't understand, and it's just sobbing. And as it turns, it vanishes and disappears. He grasps his head and screams, but as he falls to his knees, he profusely just starts like holding on to this fluid that was leaking from whatever this creature is. Having enough for 2 handfuls, he marches, and eventually basically like running into a jeweler's shop like from a city like far away. It's like almost running out in his fingers. He finally begs someone to give him something to hold it in, pours what few drops he has left into a vial. The rest is soaked away, and as he looks what's soaked into his skin, he turns his hands over, and on one hand he sees love, and the other hand he sees hate, and he starts to feel who he is fade away. And the memory vanishes and shows to this person.
The man pulls his hand back and looks at you and squints his eyes before looking down at your hands and flips the hand he was holding over. What does it say on your hand?
It says love and hate.
Holds them back before looking at the vial and says, "You do not need to give this in the arena. I will give you a king's sum here and now.
Wait, for the vial?
For the vial and the liquid. If you want Marcus's debts paid, they are paid.
Hal's gonna look at the door. And looking at the vial. He says,
I know what's gonna happen once I give these to someone. So I need to wear it on my neck while I just tell them each something. But if this clears Marcus's debts and this pays them each, I'll do it. But I need you to write something for me, and I need you to give it to them. Because I know once that's in your possession.
and Hal is like through under his mask, tears are like hitting him.
I know I won't remember. Because every time something like this happens, I change. You have to promise me.
Give me your paper, and I will give it to them. Marcus's debts will be cleared.
Hal hands him some paper and places it on one of the shelves, and Hal's hands are just like shaking violently because he's clearly very afraid. But if it clears a debt, he will.
Do you write anything on these papers?
I'm gonna.
You don't have to say it out loud if you'd prefer just to type it.
Hal writes like basically makes like a document thing up for this guy,
How,
and then
in your
Hal
mind,
in his
you do begin to hear no continuously, as somebody did put a highlighted message.
once Hal hears it, Hal through grabs his book alongside the paper, and he writes in the book and says, in the book he writes on the final back page where he kind of does his prayer, he says,
I know this is going to suck. We've restarted a lot. But I have a chance to really help someone right now. And I think this was your way of changing my life. Let me do it for someone else.
and Hal is starting to get bit blurry vision because it's a lot hearing all the sounds. And then in the book, Hal's going to use sending because I can write a message to each one of them. Basically, instead of the usual sending where messages appear, Hal's hand glows blue, and each area where someone's name is, Ren and Zinnia, Hal places his hand and leaves a handprint so that Zinnia gets the feeling of when Hal, and this is gonna happen for both of them. Like he's gonna kind of put like a delay on it, just so he closes the book and they get it, so it's not immediate. But Zinnia is going to get that rush of the feeling when Hal basically tried to get a hug from someone, just so Zinnia could get that feeling, or when they had those long walks and talks together, riding through the city, and when they first bonded over the familiars. And then Hal he for Ren makes the image in the memory of the apple grove, but then also turning giant. They're just the horrible, awful things, that horrible, awful day where they just had a lot of fun together,
Horrible,
and
awful
just
day.
yeah, exactly, where it was this horrible, horrible thing. And how the way he portrays that memory, though, is everything is black and white, but the one thing in color is Ren. So that it's that was a terrible, terrible time, but you were still there illuminating it. And then the final thing that they both see is that everything was in black and white, Hal's bright colors. But then when they're both sitting in color, that jail cell, when they're sitting together and talking, the color starts to pool out and reaches out to everybody as Hal pulls up his mask and they see his face. and then How hands the document for this guy to sign everything. And I'm gonna look it over just in case.
You look. What languages do you read?
Ba-ba-da-ba-bum. I am gonna take 10 to cast comprehend languages, but it's common, elvish, undercommon, celestial.
You say, like, before I give you this, give me a moment just to begin.
Make sure everything's on the up and up.
Common, elvish, undercommon, celestial, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you do spend the time. You don't recognize this right off.
Fair enough.
Or beginning to read his signature. It's a type of writing. You've seen something similar, but no, you don't know it. You spend the time to cast it. His name seems to be written in a language that you did not understand. Seems to be written in abyssal as he signs the line. The words would be terribly hard for a mortal's ears to understand, but the best you can make out of it is Korthax. Korthax.
I'm just gonna let him know, like, as final part of the message, like that it give them a description of, hey, like, collect this from this guy, because like debts are gonna be cleared.
Thanks for setting this up, Korthax. I don't know why you want these, but it'll mean a lot to them, and I think it'll help.
He closes the book, takes it. Just so that I am clear, I'm to give your book and these papers to your friends.
Yeah. Once the book is in their hands, the magic will do the rest.
Do you plan on disappearing?
I have no idea what's about to happen. I'll still probably be here. I'm going to be looking at them like they're strangers, and that's gonna suck.
Then allow me. Before he reaches up to your forehead, he doesn't wait. He just goes to your forehead. Very quickly, grasps on it, and you can feel a surge of magic begin to come out of you. Go ahead and roll me an Arcana check.
Okay. Natural 1.
That one, you have no idea what's going on here. You cannot see. It is above your eyes. You can feel him grip kind of tightly around your temple before he pulls his hand away. Before he nods in understanding and reaches out, asking for the vial.
I hand it to him.
As you do so, as soon as the string hits his hand and fully leaves your possession, willingly and given to him, he throws it around his neck, and your vision fades to white. Zinnia and Dinky, you begin walking further down the hallway. There's a large onyx corner that seems to lead off in a fork in the road of the hallway where you stand. Zinnia, you think I must go right or left, but you feel the pull going straight forward. You put your hand up against the onyx cube. When you do so, you immediately pull your hand back as you feel dust, as if something slammed against the onyx stone. Whatever you're looking for is behind this wall. Perhaps there are doors down the other hallways, but you do not know that.
Dinky, right behind this wall. I have a good feeling, but I'm kind of stuck. Anything you can do to break through, or else we just gotta find another door, I guess.
With Dinky's dark vision, can you see anything down the hallways?
You both can see just fine. The hallways lead out. There are a few doors that go off, but maybe about 60 feet or so down, there seems to be a hallway almost like yours, where there's this hallway that hits this corner and a fork in the road, seeming to go off in the other way, as if you're on the corner of a perfect stone square. And at each of those kind of diagonally toned squares, there's another hallway that leads off.
And we don't see any door that's pressed up against the
Not
walls.
the onyx
that...
stone.
Mm. Dinky's gonna say, while holding Zinnia's hand still. Oh, Loki.
He's so out.
That little tongue hanging out.
Tongue's out. It's all hard and dry. It's gross. I'm crying. Loki's sleeping.
Dinky's gonna say, lead the way.
All right. All right. Go down that hallway.
Right or left?
Right.
Okay. You head on down to the right. You continue to feel the pull towards the center of the onyx kind of cube, I guess, is the best descriptor for it. It goes from the floor to the ceiling. As you go down, it kind of as if you're taking like a rope going around, almost making like a circle or compass. You know, I don't know if that's the best description I can give. One point on the compass, you continue to go around on the outside, pulling inward. As you do so, you see another hallway down to the side. As you go down the right hallway, you hear weeping sounds. Someone crying down the hallway. Sounds to like a man.
I go towards it.
You look in. There's a man clad in all black. You cannot see his face, but he leans over, kind of curled up in a ball downward, in a room very similar to the one that you came in, though it's empty, and he sits alone. The tables are all no longer. He cries in the center of the room in the fetal position.
Hello?
Hello?
Zinnia, as he looks up, both you and he have a flint of recognition in your eyes. You saw this man at the temple before. See? You! Before he kind of scurries back and looks at you, Zinnia, and says, You! What are you doing here?
What are you doing here,
You cost
vampire
me
man?
my home. You told them I
What are
was a
you-
vampire. They hunted me. They kicked me out of my temple.
That temple was ridden with black, bad magic.
That is my magic from my religion. I didn't even have time to get the portrait of my wife from the walls. I have nothing. I came here to get more coins to find some place to live, but you stole it all from me. Why would you do this? Why?
Really quick, can you just smile for me really quickly?
I cannot smile. I cannot even see my beloved wife. There is not a smile that I would give in the world anymore.
While this is happening, where? Sorry. Where's the pull to? Where's the pull to Charleston right now? Is it?
It's still back towards the onyx cube.
I'm just gonna grab the door handle. I'm gonna close it.
There is no door. This is a wide open handle. You will hear his cries as you leave.
Dinky's gonna go, what's his problem?
He sucks people's blood for a living.
Have you actively left, or just Dinky, do you say this out loud in the room near him?
Passing, we're gonna pass through. Is it like an open door room, or is it like a big?
Yeah, this is a big open door foyer that leads back into the hallway, just like the other one that you came through, though he's the only one in this one.
We're gonna go walk back to what closest way for Charleston. I'm gonna whisper it.
Dinky, did you say this before you left, or after y'all are gone?
Dinky's holding onto Zinnia's head and he's going, what's his problem? Keep walking.
Tell me how far away you are from him when you say this.
Is there a far enough away to not hear
At
his
least-
sobs?
I'm not yelling it. I'm just saying it at like a normal volume, but probably 10 feet
Okay.
or whatever.
Oh, no.
As he-
It's Flint all over again.
As Zinnia's like, okay, Nicky, why don't we just leave him? As Nicky, what's his problem? Before he says, she is my problem. She took everything from me, her and her drow. I was living in a paradise. And he's just saying this. Zinnia, you could still be walking away, but he's still... like,
We're still
sitting there
walking
crying.
away.
She's evil, pure evil. She does not know anything. She accuses people of dark and horrible deeds. You just hear this begin to slowly fade away. I will never be accepted back to be accused as a vampire in the city. Do you know that?
So he drinks people's blood for a living.
Still accused.
That's gross.
Oh.
It is, and then they turn into forms of not themselves because they are cursed.
Oh.
Oh, like you?
I'm not. I used to be cursed.
Huh.
Wait,
Oh.
what? Wait, you think I'm cursed?
Well, you changed too.
Oh, that is something that we might be able to teach you. Or you can pay for a scroll to do that. It's actually really easy. Now's not the time, though. You should find Charleston.
Dinky don't want to learn how to be cursed.
Okay. Sorry. Keep dragging him along.
So do you head back the way you came, or do you go to the right from there, attempting to go to the other end?
The other end.
Okay, yeah, so you head on to the right. You hear faintly his cries continually. A man broken and defeated, the last bit of everything taken from him, not even allowed to get the portrait of his wife from his home.
Sorry.
You continue to head further. Ren, you continue to talk to Lyra and wait. Anything that you're specifically talking about?
I'm just bummed.
Ren,
I look at her and just like, I'm bummed. Alright, I just say that out loud.
why are you bummed?
I'm just, I don't know. I thought he'd be better from that by now, but I guess he's not.
It is an addictive sport, truly. But one that can erase many debts and many deeds. I understand his addiction more than most. I've tried to leave this place many a time, but it always calls back.
Well, at least he'll find solace in knowing that his house blew up.
I don't know if I would find solace in that.
It'll bring a smile to my face at least.
Did you blow his house up?
Inadvertently, kind of, sort of. We had help from a mutual friend.
Why?
TD attacked. They were looking for him, I guess, because he probably owes them money too. Seems like he owes everybody money, and the mutual friend kind of blew out the support structure of the house, and then, you know, I may have casted a fireball and blew everything up, and then we all fell into the water, and then I almost died, and they almost died, and you think I'm cursed?
I don't know. Would you like me to check?
Yeah.
Hmm.
'Cause it always seems like bad luck just follows me around.
That is the nature, as she takes a little pin that looks very much like this pin, and she... Oh, hold on, it's kind of green because of the green screen. This is really rad and magical looking, and I'm very hyped by it, actually, before she kind of pops it open. And in doing so, a large scroll seems to pop out from inside of it, hidden, before she begins reading. She looks up at you. She takes dip into her component pouch and wipes a bit of chalk across your forehead.
Simba.
Or she. It seems you're not cursed, but you do have must be a string of very, very bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
Should have been born a halfling, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
But, alas, is the way of wood elves sometimes.
Yep, you're right there.
As she's talking, Ren, you're greeted by the onyx black tiefling, who comes and puts a hand on your shoulder. He says, "You should come with me."
Are we gonna go see Marcus?
We're going to go see your friend. You need to take care of him now.
What? And Ren's gonna get up.
He kind of nods to Lyra, and she kind of nods back to him. For he walks you over towards the small little broom closet that he took Hao into, opens the door, and as he does so, you see Hao sitting there, eyes pure cataract white, looking up 1,000-yard stairs directly past you.
I'm gonna run up to him and what happened?
He chose to help you above all else before he throws what you recognize to be Hao's book at you.
What did you do?
As he goes and kneels down towards Hao, and he puts his hand on Hao's forehead and he says, "I made a deal." Before his hand begins to glow blue. Hao, you were also affected by your very own style modify memory, as he, quite powerful, took all of your memories and imports them back into your mind. Seemingly to give you a kindness. You experience all of your life up from the moment that you've got those tears in an instant. Ren, as he does so, you begin to see his face contort, muscles moving from smiles to frowns to tears that pour out of his eyes. Ears begin to bleed down, trickling down his neck before his eyes suddenly regain back their normal self before he takes his hand away. The tiefling stands up and says, "I've done my part. Share the book with the lioness." And he closes the door behind. How you wake to the door closing, you and Ren in the room. Ren, it is quite dark in here now.
So
Why the fuck didn't he turn on the light? What
the memory
What
of
did he
everything,
do?
or the memory of Hao's life pre finding the tears?
After finding the tears.
Oh. Hao just sits there kind of shell shocked for a bit.
Why is it? What the
I'll take it.
hell is happening? I'm gonna grab a torch out and light it because I can't see anything now. You just left me in a dark room after watching my friend convulse and bleed from his eyes and ears. How?
Yeah.
Also, I just realized some people are like, "Oh, yeah, we should give him one." I only said that because other people said it. I'm not like, I deserve one.
What the hell just happened? Why did he give me your book? Why are you bleeding from your eyes? What is happening?
So, ooh, this does not feel good. Holy. The book's about to make you feel some magic and stuff.
And then, like, I imagine then is when the spells go off of just like sentimental memory things, almost like a.
So you're like about to make you feel magic. You open up the books. What?
And that kind of hits like both Zinnia and Ren, and he kind of sits there and goes,
I gave
because How doesn't have the words, I'm gonna make my hand glow blue, and I'm gonna take Ren's hand, and Ren is going to see everything, including like from the start of when they went back in the room, the deal, everything How like made for like the debt clearing, and then including the memory that Ren is going to experience, and then back to now.
After all that happens, I'm going to slap How in the face. I have a 0 modifier for damage, so it doesn't actually hurt you. It's just and
Stop it.
say,
Why would you do that?
what does this mean for you? Why did you do this for him?
I didn't do it
Yes.
for Marcus. I did it for you. You, this whole time, literally the only person you ever talk about is Marcus, how much Marcus means to you. We came all this way to find Marcus because you believe so much in Marcus. If Marcus has a ball and chain to their anchor, that is something for yours. I didn't do it for Marcus. I don't care about. Look, I'm going to be honest. I don't care about Marcus. I do care about you a lot, Ren.
I'm gonna give him a big ol' hug.
I hug him, and
I don't know what's going to happen with the Whispers, and I am going to be honest. I just gave whoever that guy is my connection to the Whispers the first thing, and I'm starting to remember who I've been. Does that... Every time something has happened to the Whispers, I've changed. Not just sometimes mentally, but physically, and sometimes in other ways. I was, I think, a prisoner in the Underdark at some point. And I'm seeing, I mean, that guy just put memories, and I don't remember being those people. Before I found all of you, I remember before that Castigon guy grabbed the Whispers, I was someone different. I think I was like a swashbuckler. I was really pretty. Huh.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's changed much, but I don't understand. Like, can you hear them still?
I don't know.
How? Roll a
I'm
perception.
gonna just try and listen. Yeah. Fitting. 7.
How? Strangely, yet peacefully, this is the first time you've heard pure silence
Oh, I hate that.
in years. You're in a broom closet in another dimension. No noise can be made on the outside. Other than the flickering of the torch from Ren, you hear nothing. Zinnia, Dinky, as you two enter the north side of the cube, you enter the hallway, finding it to be empty. You hear faint cries about how horrible you are, Zinnia, in the distance, before a sudden flash of light of blue, just like you saw before when you entered into this domain. Suddenly, 32 people appear into the room, a crowd. Some of them crying, some of them cheering gratefully, all of them in similar garb to what you saw before. Many robed, many clad in noble's attire, a lot of them clutching bags of goods. You suddenly feel the hair on your arm shift and move in this room.
Thank
You hear the loudest... Ren, can you hit me with a beep? Just... from the room. A tiefling that can be described as Ren.
Ah. So, I've got an image somewhere, but long story short, it's a tiefling with normal, like, kind of peachy skin, normal looking eyes as well, has a like reddish tone to the beard, and as well kind of shaggy red hair underneath an oversized wizard's hat, wearing very very loose and light robes, with a nice scarf that goes around as well, and it also would most likely be wearing a small little locket as well.
You hear that tiefling cry out, "What was before?" Yeah, exactly. As he drops to his knees, hands on his head. A young man, clad in noble's attire, an ascot across his almost captain of the ship, almost like attire, navy-esque material, with an ascot, looks down, hair blonde and twirled back, kind of poofed up at the front, very pompadour-y as he... Another try again, old boy. I could use a little bit more of your money. Before the tiefling looks up and says, "Well, until once more, I have one more. I could do one more. If you'll let me into it one more time, I will." Before everyone kind of laughs at Marcus here, pleading for another entry. As, it's not up to me, old boy. Go, beg, if you can go one more time into debt. Marcus, that you know to be, based on the descriptors Ren and the visuals he's given you, gets up off his knees and begins jogging away. You do not feel the pull towards the squirrel going towards Marcus, but back towards the one who was prodding him.
Okay, so if we step in there, are we looked at all? Like, does anyone even pay attention to us?
A few people give some eyes to Dinky for his attire. You kind of fit in pretty properly here. You're a drow, you're in nice attire. Nobody really looks too much at you, but a lot of people look at Dinky and kind of what are you doing here?
I don't know if I'm a drow. I didn't use a
She's
scroll.
Leonin.
Oh, I thought you
Yeah.
used... Okay, then yes, people give a look at both of you, actually. Also, yes, people... I didn't mention it before. Absolutely, Jakey, inspo if you don't have one.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, of course. Then yes, you both are looked at. I thought you were currently in drow form. Yes, both of you are kind of looked at by everybody. Not so much as stare down as everybody just kind of gives you a double take as to what are they doing here kind of thing.
I'm taking Dinky's hand, walking through. Excuse me. Pardon me. Excuse me. So I know it's Marcus based on description, basically, right? Like his name hasn't been said, but I can infer.
Yes, and Marcus has currently ran past this crowd and is going back the way that you came. Are you trying to get to Marcus or into where you're being pulled?
Oh, I want to get the squirrel.
Okay, yeah. You pull yourself and you feel it towards the man who was prodding Marcus. He holds a small pouch in his hand.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, feline.
It's Zinnia.
I'm very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. I'm looking for a furry friend. Would you happen to know anything?
If you're looking for companionship, you may check on
No.
the eastern part of town if you're looking for another furry friend.
A squirrel. A pet.
Charleston. Charleston Chew.
I was waiting for you to do the joke. I've been waiting this whole time. Thank you. Oh, yes. GFY, of course, but I love it.
Thank you. It's worth it.
Oh, wait, that's the squirrel's name.
Yeah. No, that doesn't mean it's not worth the GFY. Charleston
So every
Chew.
time he says is the squirrel's name, does he get a GFY? Is it just a GFY gun?
I mean,
Charleston Chew, Charleston Chew, Charleston
his
Chew.
name's just Charleston and he chews. He's a squirrel. He eats nuts. How else do you think he's going to eat them?
Just want to say, right when you said Charleston, I called it in chat. You can scroll back to the top. It was the first thing I sent in chat.
Good call. So yeah, you Charleston Chew, as he says, the familiar that I won.
You won. How did you win it?
He was offered up by the Tiefling.
It wasn't the tieflings to offer up. This is our friends.
I did not know whose it was to offer it up, but I did win it in the game. It is mine now. Thank you. I apologize for your loss. Perhaps you should have kept better track of your pet.
Wait. Can I please have Charleston?
Roll
Please.
persuasion.
Oh,
I'm gonna
Can I-
guidance myself
at advantage, Rybo.
because Dinky knows he's trying to be sweet. He's trying to.
Can we see him just to make sure it's the right squirrel?
Don't you get us kicked out of here.
See what
You guys
Dinky
got
says
the
first.
vibe, the aura. I give my inspo to this.
Save your inspo. I'm gonna use mine because this one was a horrible roll. So let's re-roll that.
Fair enough.
I appreciate that. Okay, and then with guidance, it's just a 19.
Hey, Dinky. Welcome to the Red Wagon Inn. GFY.
Can I
I'm
give
gonna
him an info?
Can
You
we
can.
use a GFY
He's
on to
currently got
Rybo's GFY?
He's
Wait,
currently
you
got
said
7.
people could give bonus inspos to someone else, right?
Yeah. If you have a
I have
bonus
the
one.
bonus inspo from the G&G game, baby.
You wanna use it?
I'm giving it to him.
There you go. You can cancel it. So 19. Absolutely. With your 19,
Got you, boy.
Zinnia, you do ask, can we at least see it to make sure it's him? He looks at you and says, fine. I'm willing to part with him for the right sum. But as he reaches in, he suddenly, and not in a good guy kind of way, he picks up the squirrel kind of like around the neck as he holds it up. And you can see Charleston try and squirm and get out of it as he holds it back up. Is this your pet?
Or like a dinky.
Please be careful.
I will
gonna
trade
hold
him
up.
to you. He is my prize. 100 platinum, and we'll call him yours.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have that kind of cash on me.
Well,
Dinky pulls out the button.
Oh, he's gonna get him.
what
with
is
that
this?
button.
It's a magical button. It keeps your pants up and your shirt together. All you need to cast it is a bit of thread.
Roll a persuasion at disadvantage.
Oh my god.
Come on, man. That's gotta be,
Come
that's
on,
gotta be
baby.
advantage plus 10.
Come on,
on now.
come on.
Dude, if I was sitting there, I had a Porsche, and someone walked up to me and said, hey, can I have your car for a button? And they said exactly that. I'd be like, you know what?
That was a
And
good button.
this is a fantasy scenario where I have a Porsche. Go ahead, have it. In my fantasy scenario, I have another one.
No. I first rolled a 17, but then you said a disadvantage, and then I rolled a critical 1.
He looks and says, I have plenty of those types of magical buttons. Until then, and he shoves his squirrel impossibly down inside this bag before cinching it back up. I will fight you for it.
What goes on here?
We compete. Do you have a pet worth fighting for? Obviously, not the squirrel, but any other pet that you would wager against mine.
I don't.
Dinky's gonna pull Zinnia's hand real quick and whisper, I can be the pet.
Wait, your voice cut out. Say that again. I can what?
I can be the pet.
Dinky is my pet.
That's very cute, but I'm looking for something outside of personal effects.
Why do you want a
Dinky-
squirrel so bad?
Dinky's gonna wild shape. He is going to choose.
What do you turn into?
Dinky's gonna turn into an ape. A big ape. And on this ape, there's going to be a bunch of like runic dark green markings all over the ape in forms of constellations. And this ape is swole and out of control. Dinky goes from a 5-foot little sweetheart
To Sasquatch.
to a big'em, to a Donkey Kong.
To a naked Sasquatch, one might say.
Okay.
GFY.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And as I say in chat,
I'm at
nice.
3. As
Does he have a tie on?
as he stands up,
Dinky,
towering
dinky
over the
Kong.
rest of the people in this room, everyone kind of stammers back. But the man that you're looking at says, "A gorilla, just a gorilla. Well, perhaps you can enter in your trial times." Just a
What do
gorilla.
you want with a squirrel so bad? A squirrel
Oh, I
and gorilla.
care not for your squirrel. It is a prize, a token of mine. I attempt to stuff it and put it on my wall.
Dinky's
No.
gonna start beating his chest
I would like
angrily.
to.
I
Roll an
meant-
intimidation.
You said beating your chest. I thought you were about to say,
Say
I'll start
beat him.
beating this
Yeah,
guy's
that's what I
ass.
thought.
I use multi-attack. For intimidation. That's gonna be 18.
18. Okay.
Come on.
I'm going to use my inspo.
GFY. No, I'm.
Can if you like.
Nah, we're
Let me
building
give up.
those back up.
Build
We
them
want
back
the
up.
casting
Yeah.
on railgun.
We do.
Let the
we do.
dice do the talking. I'm
As
cool
you
with it.
boom, 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 the crowd backs away. Even Zania kind of like flinches at a moment, not expecting you to have done it. But the man stands there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Perhaps I wasn't loud enough for your monkey brain. Go speak to the games master if you wish to compete. I look forward to eating you with my pet. I
Man,
wouldn't enter myself if I were you.
Whoever has that kill an NPC character
Yeah, it's
point,
gonna be
this,
this guy.
this douche totally deserves it.
Yo, I forgot that that's a thing. I was gonna say, chat the sniper just perched up from a building. Click, click.
The man on the grassy knoll just takes a shot.
Take the shot, Mickey. You're a coward, Mickey.
Where's my fucking money?
Where's my yucking money?
Jay's 308 full metal jacket.
As he laughs
War
at
never
you,
changes.
he goes up, seemingly unafraid in his domain. He kind of stands like the quarterback in high school, right? He is in his element here. Before he looks back at you all and says, I think perhaps I've changed my mind. Let's say we make it 200 platinum now, because I look forward to making you fight for this. I do not think you can scrounge up the money. And now I wish to send my pet against your gorilla. Before he begins walking off towards the cube, as if to head back to where you originally came from. You hear somebody walk towards you from the crowd. A woman, a tiefling, looks up at you and says, "Sorry about Nevik. He can be a problem," before she just
Nevik?
begins to walk.
Nevik? You Kevin fucking backwards? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, fucking
GFY.
I named him what everybody wanted.
Do we see it in chat? Oh, I do see it, yeah. Well, no one said Nevik. This is great, though.
Put the right letters
It's
in.
fine.
I do like it.
I like it.
Dang.
As we cut back to Ren and Hao sitting in the closet.
I'm gonna do what I've been dreading this whole time. I'm gonna look at my hands.
As Hao looks down. Seems like a good... I'm just kidding. As you look down,
I was gonna smack you. I was gonna fly to Texas and smack you.
the words are still there. Love,
Okay.
hate. The words up the rest of your arms are there, on your chest, on your legs. All the words remain.
I'm gonna try and what's a low spell that I can just cast in my hands that won't. I'm gonna create my mage hand, do some magic, see if anything happens.
You pull your book, quickly take a look at it, and try and cast Mage Hand from within you. What before felt like calling upon your own power to cast this magic, now feels like you have to ask permission to create this hand from the air. You're granted this permission as a hand mimicking your own appears in the sky.
Ren, I hope whatever Marcus's debt was a lot, and I hope the money we get is also a lot, because I'm not connected to the Whispers anymore. I'm just another patron.
At that does actually seem like a great place to stop for the night. It is currently 9:58. If you haven't entered the giveaway yet, make sure you do for the fourth and final token. And if it wasn't shilled enough, make sure you come check out the 24-hour charity stream tomorrow. Remember, we got 3 games. The first one is with Salt and Summer, and you're not going to want to miss it because the person they're working for is directly involved in it. Come hang out as Bestagon sends them on a bit of a quest. With that, make sure you enter the giveaway because we're about to end it, and we'll reveal the final mystery token. First of all, even ending the night, if you have used your inspo, everybody gets it back. Fantastic role-playing all around tonight. Well done to all the players. So congratulations, great job. I look very much forward to finding out what Ren's going to do now that he sees Marcus, what Hal is going to do, finding out that he's just a follower now, and how Zania and Ninky are going to plan to kick Nevik's ass.
Poison
Backward,
his water
Kevin.
and suffocate him in his sleep.
The Blind Mossgrove Moose has won.
Congrats.
Congratulations, Blind Mossgrove Moose.
Hey!
You win the
Congrats.
final mystery token. Mossgrove Moose, at any point tomorrow during the 24-hour stream, come hang out. Have a good time. If you particularly find a character that you think is maybe too powerful, maybe underpowered, it's your call. We're going to make you use that token to pick any player throughout the day and make them re-roll all of their stats. We're going to go down the order too. So the players here don't know about this. They knew about it before, but they don't know we're going to do it this way. You're going to roll 46 as normal, dropping the lowest. But what you get for strength is your first roll. What you get for dex is your second roll. We're going to go down that way. So whoever you probably don't like the most is going to have a fun time re-rolling. Maybe they get all 18s. Maybe the dice are kind.
Cruelty.
Maybe they get all 4s.
All 20s. That's
Oh.
what they're gonna get tomorrow.
All
But you'll only
20s.
know tomorrow if you show up for the 24-hour live stream.
Pew, 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 pew.
Tomorrow and Thursday.
Tomorrow and
Tomorrow
Thursday.
and Thursday. Well, I'm
Six-
saying it starts tomorrow, 24 hours.
Yeah, I got you, Jake. I got you.
Stay for it.
6
It's gonna
p.m.
be so much fun.
Central Time, 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. Or if we're doing it normal, regular Red Wagon Inn time until the next normal Red Wagon Inn time. So
Yes, EST.
come join. Yeah, EST. Time.
Do it.
I'm going to be up late. So come join and keep me awake as we go through. And remember, all the money's going to a local children's hospital. Thank you again, Will, for joining us. And we'll hopefully see Will again back next week as we may enter Donkey Kong into fighting. This is literally going to be Godzilla versus Kong, and I love it.
Godzilla vs. King Kong. Let's go.
Hype.
Oh,
Well, thank you for having me. It's always an awesome time.
absolutely
you.
glad to have you.
We
Love you, Will.
very much.
Thank you, everybody watching. We'll see you all on the streams tomorrow. Come check out the Canon one-shots. Love you. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night. I love you. I hope you cried.